It swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Monday, I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their third straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. The things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The red and gold now drop to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome in to Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Yes. Welcome into Stiles and Watkins on a beautiful, beautiful Monday. I don't know how many beautifuls there should be, depending on if you are a Kings fan, I figure that you are, or a Niners fan. That's why there's probably only should be one beautiful. Because the Kings, they take care of business against the Lakers in overtime, 132-127. Earlier on Friday, they did lose to the Warriors, 122-114. But I'll keep the two beautifuls because De'Aaron Fox avoided, as Carmichael Dave said during crosstalk, avoided significant injuries, probably going to miss some time, but definitely better than what we thought could be the case when he limped off and it did not look good. We have so much to talk about in terms of De'Aaron gutting that out and wanting to come back in. We have sound from players and coaches saying that De'Aaron was never supposed to come back in the game, but he's a dog and he wants to be a part of it. And he really wanted to get that W at home. But hey, in life, you need people that are going to have your back. And Kevin Herter said, I know I've been struggling, but De'Aaron, I got your back. Vazenkov said, I know I'm still new to this, but De'Aaron, I got your back. And they said the same thing to Sabonis, Keegan Murray, I got your back. They said the same thing to Sabonis because he fouled out as well. So we'll talk about that. Chris, how are you doing on this lovely, lovely Monday?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Again, we got to see the beam last night, so that's good. Obviously, if it would have been a Kings loss on Friday, a Niners loss on Sunday, and then another Kings loss on Sunday, today probably would have been a pretty rough day of radio. And I'm glad that we don't have to deal with that. Of course, two of those things happen, but at least the Kings can salvage it, or salvaged it, I should say, with the win yesterday. And, it's I'm joking that we're just going to forget about Friday, but for the most part, it is, on to the next game. And you really can't dwell on, unless there was some, really big happening that happened on Friday. It's really nothing to dwell on unless you feel like there was something that's just going to linger throughout the year. But to me, obviously not how you wanted to start the season. Me and Whitey all throughout our time together, we're doing Kings bold predictions. I think about half of them are already not coming true with the Warriors, the Kings not sweeping the Warriors. And I think the Whitey said that the Kings were going to start 9-0. That's obviously not happening, but still no reason to overreact. And I think the news today that we're hearing that we just saw from Sam Amick and Shams about De'Aaron being relatively healthy, I think it's a positive heading into this week for sure.
Well, and you talk about bold predictions. You guys had capital B, size 15 font. Those were the type of bold predictions that you had going on. And that's what it's about. But the Kings and how they kind of approached this game and really didn't have a lot of time to dwell on the Warrior game. You had the King coming to town. And the Laker fans, look.
I'm telling you.
Man, they're the worst. They are the worst. There was a guy when we were sitting in the little media section.
Yep.
There's a guy just the whole time just screaming, "Come on, AD, get in the game!
Come on, LeBron!
Just get in the game!" And I'm glad the Kings got their W, because I'm still trying to ingratiate myself with the Sacramento fan base and become a Sacramentan and all that jazz. And if I show up and now all of a sudden the Kings can't get a hometown beam, I got people in my mentions saying, dude, go back to the 925, get out of here, go back to the 510, you got to go. So luckily I don't have to deal with that. The Kings get the W, they get it done. The Lakers, we'll talk about the Warriors and the Lakers later on in the show. But yeah, man, those Laker fans, they come out. It's almost it's like a weird community to me. Yeah. Right? Hey, we're gonna put on our Laker gear, we're gonna wear our Laker greats jerseys, and we're just gonna cheer. And now they have LeBron, and that's been the worst part. You talked about this on Friday. That's been the worst part of LeBron going to the Lakers. It's like the combination of the two worst fan bases, LeBron fans and Laker fans, all coming together to just annoy everyone.
Unstoppable force moves immovable objects, and they come together.
Because we talked about Warriors and how you thought that split would be. You said 70-30.
70-30.
Probably more like
40-60.
Right. You said 60-40. It ended up. It was. It felt like it was more like 70-30. When the Lakers started rolling.
Yeah, it was interesting last night to kind of have that direct, like, back-to-back games of Warrior fans and then Laker fans the next day in the building.
Right. And I can say, and I think I can say this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and anyone can correct me. We're going to open the phone lines here in a little bit. I mean, Laker fans are worse than Warrior fans.
They're more obnoxious for sure.
Thank you.
They both have the same, which I don't blame, but they have the same front runner energy where they're real quiet when the game's close, but then all of a sudden, once a lead becomes established, all of a sudden, then everybody's, jumping up, and Warrior, and, doing "Let's Go Lakers" chants and all that stuff. But, it's real quiet when the game's close.
And I don't know if you were listening to it right here on our airwaves, listening to the game, the Laker game, or watching it, the Lakers, when they took the lead later in the fourth, the Laker fans tried to start a "Let's Go Lakers" chant in Golden One. In Golden One. And they got about 3 or 4 of them out that were audible. I've recorded it on my phone. They got about 3 or 4 of them out, and then Kings fans just said,
Come on
out.
now. Yeah, you got to drown.
We can't. That
just
that
make
just
noise at that point. And it's happened before, but it's as the King. And the thing is, it's been in lean years for the Kings, where it's like, okay, it makes sense. Like, Kings fans don't want to show up. Laker fans are actually part of a successful season, so it makes sense that local fans would want to go see their team in this opportunity. But as the Kings get good and as they get better, I would hope and expect to see that number kind of dwindle for the opposing fans, but clearly it hasn't gotten that way, and it's still early in the season, and it makes sense. Laker fans are going to spend whatever they want on to see their team because they're crazy like that. But of course you would like to see less of the opposing fans in the building. But again, I think I said it on Friday, it kind of does bring like a really rare sports environment where you do kind of get a version of a split crowd. And I think, it's different. It's definitely more combative, I would say, in the crowd, but it does, at the same time, it does really make it feel at the forefront of like an us versus them kind of thing, because sometimes it literally is the person sitting next to you is rooting for the complete opposite thing of you.
Right. And I do think the one cool part about when you win is watching, you're sitting there and you're watching all the Laker fans. You get to do the wave and you get to say, bye, Laker fans. We'll see it. We'll see you when we see you. So, glad that the Kings could come out and get that W. Glad that De'Aaron Fox avoided significant injury. So we will get more into that after this break, but we do want to start to break down a little bit. Also in the show, we'll have some Niners talk because we're doing our first Blame Pie.
Yes.
All right. We're not sure that the name will stick. We were trying to think of other names, right? I don't know. Chris and Watkins pie. That doesn't really sound too.
Pie. I'll take that.
Or no, Stiles and Watkins pie. Styling and pieing. I don't know. We're trying to figure out. I'm just on a roll. I'm just on a roll this morning. Wow. Yeah. So we will be talking about that as well, because some people just don't want to touch anything that Brock Purdy has done wrong. Not saying it's all Brock Purdy.
Well, that's where the pie comes in.
That's where the pie comes in. Steve Wilkes, I think people just want to give him the whole pie.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the case. Players got to make plays. Nick Bosa, where you at? If you're watching us on YouTube, I'm looking.
A lot of money.
Like, that meme with the woman in church before they do, because Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yes,
beans,
greens, tomatoes,
potatoes.
Yep.
And she's like, who
Yams.
made it? And she's looking. I'm looking, and I cannot find you, Nick Bosa. And I don't want to hear about the double teams because you are not getting double teamed. Now we're looking at trades, and you want to go get, Montez Sweat on Washington? What are we talking about?
Heard Brian Burns' name thrown around there.
What did y'all do all week, all summer? You were just out there doing cardio? I mean, the front office, this is what you were supposed to have been solidified.
Right.
And now you're out. You're going to make a trade to get somebody else. And you got Randy Gregory?
Doesn't make sense to me. I think that they have other holes that are just a lot more pressing to fill, in my opinion.
I hear you, but I mean, if you can't get, it's a chicken or the egg, because if you can't get pressure, that's going to expose the other areas of your defense.
Of course.
So do you just shore up the secondary, or do you try to
just keep loading up
keep
that
going?
Just keep fresh
hockey line changes for just completely different D lines.
I feel like we'll get more into it, but I just feel like at some point, I think you have more than enough talent on that defensive line, and I'm not opposed to the Niners going out and making that big splashy move, but to me, it's got to be to address a position of weakness, whether it be the offensive line or whether it be the secondary. I feel like they have actual real holes that they are kind of, I wouldn't say they're being exposed, but the cracks are definitely starting to leak a little bit.
Yes, that is for sure. And the last thing I will say about Brock is we saw a different version of Brock yesterday where he's scurrying around, and I think it's cool. I think he's giving shades of other 49er great quarterbacks. That's all fine and good. I don't think, and we know statistically he did not play bad yesterday, but he just made some plays that you just cannot make in this situation.
At bad times,
we'll talk about that. We'll get into it. And how could I forget 12:45? We had two big games this weekend. So you know what we got to do at 12:45. Get the calls ready. 916-339-1140. That's right. Our second installment of Beamin' or Dreamin'. We will see. Has anybody changed? Are you in an even better spot, or did it get worse? We got all that and more when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbit, you name it! I got beans.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Thousands of stores across the country are pulling brand name cold and allergy products off the shelves. Why? Because an FDA advisory panel recently determined that a drug they contain, oral phenylephrine, is ineffective as a nasal decongestant. Navage offers a drug-free solution that's fast and highly effective at relieving nasal congestion caused by colds and allergies. Navage uses suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril to help suck out allergens, mucus, and germs. Nasal irrigation works, and Navage makes it quick and easy. But more than anything, it helps you breathe better. Don't waste your time or money on products that are ineffective. Trust drug-free Navage for fast relief to help you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. Oh, yeah, I didn't do it yet, right? Because we said, when are we going to stop numbering them.
Oh,
Stop
right.
counting.
Yes.
Third official show.
Yeah.
Third official show.
When we get to 7?
7.
Okay.
Right.
That feels
no,
about right.
no double digits.
Yeah.
Third official show. Thank you for joining us, whether you are on the YouTube, whether you are listening in your car, however you're listening. Thank you for letting us be a part of your morning and your afternoon as well.
Right.
And thank you, Lakers.
Yeah.
For coming through and disappearing. AD, I'm looking for the same look I'm giving to Nick Bosa, I'm giving to AD, but you don't got to show up here, man. AD's got to be one of the most confusing athletes of our generation. Mm-hmm. What will be the narrative on Anthony Davis when it's all said and done?
Hurt. It's the best the best ability is availability. Yeah. And that's really the story of Anthony Davis's career is when he plays. I mean, he's able to put up numbers like he had last night, 30 and 16 or something like that last night. I think he had like 6 combined blocks and steals or something crazy like that. He's 5. He had 5 blocks and steals or stocks or whatever you want to call them. Mm-hmm. He's able to put up numbers when he's healthy, but the problem is he's never been healthy. And the only time he was able to stay healthy for a playoff run was that bubble year. And look what happened. They were able to win the championship.
But he was healthy last season, though.
He was healthy last season, and they were able to make the Western Conference Finals as an 8 or as a 7 seed or whatever. Right. So I think it is as simple as when AD plays, much like Zion Williamson or a lot of other guys, when you're healthy, you can be a great, but you have to be healthy. And that's what makes LeBron's career so special. It's what made Steph's kind of resurgence from that ankle injury so special. It's what made KD's run kind of sad is it felt like right as he was reaching the peak of his powers, he tears his Achilles and just starts having foot problems. You got to stay healthy. And to me, that's going to be the biggest thing about AD. He got listed in that 75th anniversary team that the NBA had a couple years back. And I think we're going to look back at him being on that list and say, wow, like that says what he was supposed to be and just what he never ended up. Well, shouldn't say never because celebrity birthdays, I'm pretty sure he's like 29 or 30 years old. He's still super young. But it just to this point, he has not been able to live out his potential because he's just been hurt way too much.
Well, but on top of the injury thing, I do feel like if Zion has been pure injury, when he's in, he's going. Yeah. Right. Anthony Davis has another layer to where he does also disappear in games.
Sure.
Yeah. Have a really good half. He did in the first game that they played, the Lakers did.
Yeah.
Where was AD in the second half? And then in this game, I mean, he was around the whole time, but he has spurts, and I don't know if that's due to injury. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where every time he fell on that ref yesterday. Yeah, that was a ridiculous
thought he was done.
Collision.
I was like,
one of these guys is not getting up.
Right. It's exactly.
I don't know who.
But exactly what I thought.
something is not going to be okay. Yeah. And luckily, both were fine. Yeah. But it's just even the way he moves at this point. You're just thinking, man, and I think that's a good piece of this too. Because even if he doesn't get injured because of his history, however old he is, in your mind, especially being a bigger guy as well, he's got to be at least 34 mileage-wise, right? Even though he doesn't have – it's not mileage in the sense that he's been playing a lot. It's mileage in the sense of
his wear and tear.
I've seen some things, right? I have seen some things. But I did get to see my first beam.
Yeah. How'd she look?
I
think we've all
amazing.
Established that the beam is
okay.
Is a she.
Okay.
I believe.
It's like a car. You
exactly.
call your car.
Exactly. It's the exact same
I think it can be whatever
thing.
you want. If it's a she to you,
absolutely.
Then
absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I was
that's wonderful.
I haven't. I'm very overwhelmed.
You're just starting your beam journey. Yeah, you got to find the identity.
And shout out to Chris Watkins, just a great co-host. I had to ask. I said, "Hey, man, I gotta be that guy. Can you take a picture of me with the beam?" And he did it. He gave me different angles as well.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't get on a knee, but I was
you didn't have to do
really
all that.
Be like,
we'll run it back. Yeah. We'll run it back.
Yeah.
So shout out
to get you like looking like you're 7 foot tall.
I would love that. Yeah. I would love that. So shout out to Chris Watkins for being a good.
I was trying to make Alan look like a vert.
Yeah, exactly. You got to
not a zont.
Not that I am a proud zont, but sometimes if I can look like it, I'm gonna take that all day. But like you said, AD with 27 points and De'Aaron Fox. So we did not expect to have an update this quickly.
No.
And I'm glad that we did because it was a good update, right? If it lingered, it probably wouldn't have been so good. But we cannot say enough about De'Aaron Fox. 37 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Not even the bold prediction when we discussed how far could the Kings go. It is all based on a lot of things, but it starts with the straw that stirs a drink in De'Aaron Fox. And he is off on a heater. He just makes things look easy. And a lot of words. There's a whole list of overused sports words like narrative and ceiling, right? And I would say shifty is like a tier 2 version of that word. But De'Aaron Fox is shifty, man, because it's the stop and go. It's the mid range, the threes. We got to keep track of that 3-point percentage. Started out cold. He was
44%,
right? And really, it would be better. What was it? The 1 for 7 night.
Yes.
Has kind of messed it up. But ever since then, he's been on a bit of a heater, and you'll love to see it. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, man, he's doing some things right now, and hopefully he doesn't miss too much time.
No, exactly. The hope is that he doesn't miss too much time. We kind of tried to break it down earlier on the crosstalk, but it seems like, if we had to guess, and this is just nothing more than a complete guess, but maybe next Friday he can come back, so he hopefully doesn't miss too many games. But the Kings definitely need his scoring, especially on a night like last night. It becomes incredibly apparent just how valuable it is to have De'Aaron on their team. He's kind of the great separator. He's their superstar. It looks like he kind of might have taken a leap that we're already starting to see here with these back-to-back 37 and then 39 on Friday as well. It looks like he's just elevated his game to another shift mode, to another, just like it feels like he can get to whatever spots he wants to. He can realistically, he's just faster than everybody else on the floor. And you mentioned the start-stop thing. To me, that's kind of the biggest evolution in his game right now is weaponizing his speed, is going 80%, but having the other guys think he's going 100 and then shifting that gear up to that 100%.
Yeah.
Guys just can't stick with him. And just what he's been able to do. You mentioned the 8 assists yesterday as well. He's not just scoring for himself. He's creating shots for others. And a big part of it is last night for more than what it's been the 2 games before. Other guys were hitting shots. You mentioned Kevin Huerter hitting some threes. What's his name? Keegan Murray knocked down a couple threes as well. And I think that's a huge part of the team looking better as well, is these guys actually made their shots yesterday where they kind of didn't against Golden State on Friday.
No. And as much as we liked what you see the line for what De'Aaron Fox did against the Kings Warriors, you say, oh, wow, he was right there toe to toe with Steph, and that was great. And then you look down and you see 27 shot attempts.
Yeah.
27 shot attempts. That is not what you really want to see.
For sure.
Maybe it's cool. It was very cool to
great
watch.
To see,
but you start looking, and again, you got the L, and he almost willed the team back, but you don't want to see him taking that many shots.
Yeah.
And
Friday was too much. I think
Friday was too much.
We were sitting next to Whitey that game as well, and we were all kind of talking together as that game was unfolding in the fourth quarter. And like you said, I mean, it was amazing to watch De'Aaron almost pretty much single-handedly bring his team back into that game. But at the same time, we also kind of saw him shoot them out of the game at the same time.
Right.
Took some just errant shots. And I wonder if, we were all kind of wondering, like, is this just him at this exact moment in time, not necessarily making some grand statement, but does he just not trust his teammates in this moment in time right now?
Right.
I mean, again, Kevin Huerter was struggling before last night. Keegan Murray hasn't looked exactly as deadly as what we would hope so far from the perimeter. A lot of in and outs, and HB after that first game has been back to HB of old, pretty quiet, still contributing here and there, but never taking 15 shots in a game. So it's did De'Aaron not trust his guys in that moment in time? I wonder. I would have loved to hear that film session for Mike Brown, and just to know how they felt about it, because clearly, again, they're not in that game without De'Aaron Fox. But there's also, I really think that there's a world where the Kings possibly could have won that game on Friday if De'Aaron spread the ball out just a little bit more. But it's tough to try and knock him when, again, he's the only reason they were in there.
Right. That was before Kevin Huerter kind of got back on the good side of things. Harrison Barnes actually asked Coach Brown this question in the post-game presser because Harrison Barnes had 5 field goal attempts.
Right. After scoring 30
attempts.
Yes.
So
and he was 4 of 5 as well. Like he was making his shots.
Right.
It wasn't like he was 1 of 5 and he was like, I just don't have it tonight. Like he was hitting shots.
So when I asked Coach that, he said he said it was more about the ball movement and the spacing. He said it wasn't necessarily about, we don't believe in, hey, just take the ball, which is funny he said that because we don't believe in just taking the ball and being quote unquote more aggressive. The game comes to you, but we all help each other by not holding on to the ball too long. So based on that answer, it was one of those things where he probably didn't want De'Aaron to do that.
Right.
But they were so far gone if he's going to put on a masterclass and pull
22
this off.
points in the fourth.
And he almost did.
Yeah.
Not how we're going to live with it, but in that situation, you got Steph on the other side. I think he just figures we can't live like that always, but there are going to be games where you just see if your star can get it done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great way of putting it because you can almost view it as like a test almost where it's like, hey, like the Warriors were kind of handing it to the Kings at that point. Let's see. I mean, De'Aaron wins Clutch Player of the Year last year, has tons of fourth quarter heroics. Can he do it? Can he, like you said, superstars sometimes on given nights? I mean, we kind of saw it in Game 7 with the Warriors. Sometimes you just win because you have a superstar on your team that night, whether it be Steph Curry dropping 50 or maybe De'Aaron Fox scoring 25 in the fourth quarter or whatever. Sometimes you do have to kind of say, this is my Hail Mary. This is the last card I got. And if it doesn't work, we were probably going to lose anyway.
Right. And again, not how you want to live every single day, but there are going to be some games that they win like that. Yeah. And we're going to be talking about De'Aaron Fox and how he willed that team to victory. We were talking about it already on Friday, but unfortunately they weren't able to get it done. Right. But they moved on. You clean the slate, and you get the win against the Lakers. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, a funny story with Coach and Keegan Murray that we'll talk about. And we've gone too long. We got to talk about our guy, Malik Monk, because he is really doing some things. All right, all that and more when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, buy a 5-quart jug and get a free STP Extended Life Oil Filter. That's right, free. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need, when you need them, at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you're a business owner, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton invites you to take advantage of a 4.9% APR for up to 36 months on select 2022 and 2023 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans. And since new Sprinters qualify for the generous Section 179 tax deduction for business vehicles, you can save thousands. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, sales, service, and a dedicated commercial vehicle department to help your company with any job. See our inventory at mbofstockton.com.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a deal going on right now that you cannot miss. This summer was much shorter and cooler than normal, so that means Good Guys is overstocked and ready to clear out their warehouse. They've got inflation-busting pricing on a brand new heating and air system for just $82.99. No other company is offering a replacement system that low. Call Good Guys now at 530-GOOD-AIR to see if you qualify. That's 530-GOOD-AIR for a no-cost qualification appointment. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057-618.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Monday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their third straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. The things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The red and gold now drop to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome back in to more Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. 11 a.m. Emil Fergoso, our 49ers insider, will be on the horn to talk Brock Purdy, Steve Wilkes, and all things 49ers. And like I said, 12:45, beaming or dreaming. Get your calls ready, beaming or dreaming. We have someone on the text line. Stiles, go back to the Bay. You're not a sack dude.
Ooh.
It's funny because that text is from a 510. So I don't think either of us are sack people. I was going to say, I don't think either of us are sack people, but thank you for listening as well. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's 916, correct?
Yeah, you're definitely right.
Thank you for listening. All right.
Appreciate it.
I saw that one. I said, I can't. I got it. I had that one in the chamber.
Bring him up.
I had that one. I had it ready. I had it ready. All right. So we've been talking Kings. We've been talking Kings and what they did against the Warriors and what they did against the Lakers as well. And man, being able to get and obviously Mike Brown was with the Warriors as an assistant, and he's been around the block for a long time. Yeah. Another overused term, players coach.
Yes.
I don't know what a players coach is. In my opinion, when I look at Kyle Shanahan, doesn't really seem like a player's coach to me. But every is a player's coach just a good coach?
Yeah,
it gets used so much.
My interpretation of player's coach is like somebody who is like not necessarily about the X's and O's and is more about like getting the team camaraderie.
Like
together.
Tomlin.
Yes, like Tomlin.
Okay.
Unfortunately, like my mind as a Kings fan goes to like Luke Walton. Like it's not really. And it's not always a positive to be a player's coach. That's the thing. That's why it's like I wouldn't necessarily say it's just being a good coach, because to me, a player's coach is somebody who you're more concerned about making sure the locker room is happy than making sure that the X's and O's are as tight as possible, if that makes sense. Like you more banking on talent winning out than the fact that, you have the best schemes.
Right. Well, it gets confusing because
like Steve Kerr. You could argue Steve Kerr is a player's coach.
Steve Kerr, because it gets confusing going back to Kyle Shanahan. A player's coach doesn't because people will say, no, they play their tails off for Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, for sure.
But does that make him a player's coach?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't say so. I would say like he's a player's coach in the sense of he definitely sets up his players to be athletes, with the amount of, yards after catch and the amount of fun that he allows in his play calls, the amount of motion. And, the Niners definitely run a pretty modernized offense. It's not, hey, we're going to take 5 steps back, we're going to run play act, they're very modern in the way they run things. And I would say that lends itself to be more player friendly because players like having fun. They don't like to play the Bill Belichick hard-nosed style of football all the time. So that's the only way I would call Shanahan a player's coach, because definitely it doesn't, at least from what we see from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like he's really a, hey, Brock, what'd you do on Friday? You know, how's the,
like McDaniel,
how's the family?
Like Mike McDaniel,
exactly.
You know,
yeah.
He's someone who he just feels like a quote unquote player's coach, and maybe it's an age thing too. Maybe I'm younger sure guys kind of come off like that.
No, Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll,
Carroll likes to stay young,
slinging the football around. So I guess there's that. But I say all that to say that in my mind, when I think players coach at this point, it's got to be Mike Brown. And the way he's talking with guys. I mean, last season when he's running the sprints up and down and just screaming and everything he does, to me, that's a player's coach. And the relationship that you have, it's almost similar to when it comes to parenting. And there's always been this long conversation of, should your parents be your friends? And it really just depends on who you talk to, right? Should your coach be your friend, or should they just be your coach? And as with most things in life, it should be a little bit of both. I think it should be even. You should feel comfortable enough to tell your parents certain things as if they were a friend, but still have that respect and understand that, I'm not your buddy. You know what I mean? Because my dad, hey, I'm not your,
I'll lay down the law
I'm not your
here.
pal. You know what I mean? But we can have a conversation. Same thing with my mom as
That's
well.
a great way of putting it.
And I think Mike Brown is right there. So we have this story where Brandon Nunez asked the question, another one of our guys, Sactown Sports, who does a lot of great work for the Kings. And he asked the question because a couple times subs were coming in and then got turned away based on the next play that happened. So we have sound from Coach Brown because this happened with Keegan Murray. And Keegan decided, I'm going to take care of this and stay on the court.
I only remember one, and it was Keegan. He was wide open, and he had a smaller guy closing out on him, and he traveled. And he's got to shoot the ball. He's one of the best shooters I've been around, and he didn't shoot it. And I told him the only reason he'll probably come out of games this year when he's not supposed to get some rest, if he doesn't shoot the freaking ball. And he was great because the next opportunity he got, he shot it. I think he turned to me and looked at me and said, F you, which I loved. That's great. So he can shoot. He better freaking shoot the ball or else he's coming out the game. If he feels like he's open, I'm going to ride with him.
I love that. And by the way, for those who didn't see, Mike Brown was furious at Keegan. Like he was like chewing him out, like he was really, really upset at Keegan, running all the way down the floor, chased him down, was telling him, you could tell he was like, if you don't shoot the ball, he had Sasha like at the scorer's table ready to take him out. And I just love that Keegan also, that's showing the development of Keegan as well, where he's getting more comfortable and like Keegan getting told F you from Keegan Murray is like, you need to wear that as a badge of honor. It's like, I earned that.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
incredible.
And I think that's the good thing about this depth. And we're going to get into it a little bit more later in the show, the depth that the Kings have, because Vezenkov thinking, oh, you want me to shoot? I'm ready. I wake up ready to shoot. So I think Keegan knowing that, the whole team knowing that, it's just iron sharpens iron all day long. And that's going to continue to help this team get better and learn, okay, Keegan, you are in here to do a couple different things. And you got some big rebounds along with Herter as well, but you're here to shoot the rock. Right. You are, it's kind of, and maybe we'll get into the World Series a little bit later. Great series going on there, by the way, but having a green light. Right. Back in the day, your boy had a green light. I had one back in the day. And Keegan not in basketball, in stealing bases. Keegan, when it comes to shooting the basketball, has a green light.
Absolutely.
And they're probably, that's not really Sabonis' bag. His green light is just, hey, if you want to initiate your offense, go ahead and do that. You got probably 3 guys with green lights, and that's Fox, Sabonis, and now Keegan Murray. So it's not even just a green light. It's somebody behind you honking, saying the light is green, go. And that's
I will.
Or I will. And
I'll
that's
drive around
exactly.
you. If you're not going to go, I'll drive around you.
And just in the driver's seat, just like, hey, you don't want to shoot.
Sorry.
I'll get in there and shoot. So I thought that was hilarious.
I think that's like the perfect clip to play, because that, especially for what we were talking about, like Mike Brown being the ultimate player's coach, because that's like the full encapsulation of it all. It's Mike Brown, again, having the parent side of it, if you will, where he's not afraid to yell at Keegan Murray, shoot the ball, and like berate him, shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Keegan's not afraid to open up the dialogue back and say what he feels. What we heard what Keegan said, and then also for Mike Brown to internalize that and understand. I mean, of course, it helps that it's from Keegan. You're not going to take that super seriously, but good on Mike Brown for not sticking to his guns and saying, no, like, I need to prove this point. I'm going to take Keegan out. He's got the wherewithal to say, like, no, he went down the floor the very next time. He took the three, he made it, he learned the lesson. Let me not pull him, and he sits Sasha back down, and I think that's, again, just a really good example of how Mike Brown has a great pulse, finger on the pulse of what this team needs. He really understands what buttons to push and when to push them. And I think it's just a perfect marriage. Like, I think where this team is at right now in their development with where Mike Brown is as a coach, he's talked about, through his experiences in Cleveland and then in San Antonio, even before that, and then what he learned in Golden State. He's kind of finishing his puzzle as a coach as well. Yeah. And both situations are just coming together at a perfect time. And it really feels like there could not be a better coach for this team than Mike Brown right now.
Get into a break. When we get back, a little bit of Malik Monk talk and what he has been able to do, and a little bit of Niners as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Does your dog leave frowny piles of poo around the yard? Do you know that a solid poo is one of the best indicators of your dog's gut health? Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food is made with organic super seaweed and other powerful antioxidants, supporting a healthy digestive system. Real protein is always the first ingredient, plus a blend of essential vitamins and minerals that help support your dog's overall health and well-being. Do their digestion a solid, literally. Find Supreme Source Premium Dog Food at Safeway, Save Mart, and Winco, or a local grocery store near you.
Gold Country Casino Resort proudly presents an unforgettable night of professional boxing on Saturday, November 11th. Our event features a stacked fight card with exciting bouts of live boxing that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss out on this epic night of boxing action. Tickets are on sale now at goldcountrycasino.com for this exciting event, November 11th at 7 p.m. only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking up to 2 p.m. Third official show. Show counter at number 3, talking all things Kings. Going to take a little Kings break as we get ready for Emil Fergoso to our 49ers Insider at 11 and go a little bit of Niners here. Even though even though the vibes are a little bit different with the Niners.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest right now.
Niners are, they're in a rough patch right now.
It was all good just a week ago. Actually, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, at this point. It's kind of crazy, man. 3 straight losses for this team.
Did not have this on the bingo card. I mean, there were people talking about, could the Niners go undefeated?
Yeah.
And I was one of those people. And now I look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Have we been hoodwinked?
Yeah. Led astray,
bamboozled?
I'm going to say no still.
Yeah.
I still feel like what we saw in the first 5 weeks, I'm not ready to throw it out yet. Now, if the Niners can't get healthy completely, that's a different story, because I think that's been a big factor in them not looking like themselves these last couple of weeks. Of course, that's a part of football, and that's something that every team is dealing with, and it's not unique to the Niners, so it's not really a valid excuse. But I think that this team still, when they're on their day, when they're having their day, I think that they're still up there with one of the best teams in football. And I know it hasn't looked like that the last 3 weeks. It's been really, really shaky. But we were talking before the show. To me, this is the middle of the season. Like, this is almost the time when every team picks up losses. I mean, we're seeing the Chiefs struggle. We're seeing the Eagles are even struggling. They've been struggling all year, really, but have just gotten the results. It's really not I'm not going to make much of this stretch. Of course, it's I was looking at this Niners schedule at the beginning of the year saying, this schedule is really tough, especially this exact portion right here where, like they were playing the Cowboys, and then we saw how good the Browns are, and the Vikings are no slouches, and the Bengals, obviously, we saw how talented they are. They come off the bye. They've got Jacksonville, and then they've got the Seattle sandwich still. It's a tough schedule, and the fact that the Niners are, finding some injuries right now, and they're playing arguably the toughest part of their schedule, it's a valid reason for why they're losing. Now, watching the games, there's obviously, the Brock Purdy story of just what's going on with him, and there's reasons why they're losing these games as they're happening, but I'm not willing to change my opinion that this 49ers team is still capable of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and the good thing is there really isn't any team that's just been better than the Niners all season long.
Absolutely.
They've all kind of
everybody's
scuffled a bit.
somewhere.
Yeah, so this is just the Niners are just a part of that.
Yep.
I think the only difference is at one point we thought the Niners were above
Yes,
that.
I think that's a great point.
And they're just not. Yeah. They're just not. And they lose to the Bengals to Joe Burrow, 31 to Joey Ice.
In front of Joe Montana, too.
In front of Joe Montana.
Takes Joe cool.
31-17. And the Bengals, they do this every season. It feels like they do this where they just
sleepwalk for a month and a half. Yeah.
And then decide, hey, all right, we'll start trying now. Joe is had the calf injury.
Right.
He definitely looks healthy. He ran as well.
I don't know if you heard, because they said it 100 times on the broadcast, but Joe Burrow wasn't under center the entire year. And then this week, all of a sudden, I think they said he had 2 snaps this entire season under center.
Wow.
And it seemed like 80% of his snaps yesterday were coming under center. So he's clearly on the other side of that calf injury.
Yes.
I don't know if it's completely healed, but clearly it's not hampering him as much as it was the first month and a half of the season.
No, and 11 o'clock, like we said, a meal for go. So 11:15, we're doing blame pie for the Niners. So be sure to call in, text in, and give us your thoughts on all of that. Yeah, man. I mean, look, you look at defensively and Steve Wilkes, should he be up in the booth? Should he be down there with his team? And you have the actual team, Fred Warner, saying, look, man, the coaches aren't tackling.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
The coaches are not tackling. I know Brandon Ayuk had a drop from Brock Purdy as well. So players got to make plays. Again, throw that in the list of overused terms, but it's true.
That's a one seed.
Players got to make plays, and you get on social media, and it's people that, and look, I know nowadays a lot of people do break down film and all this stuff, but I do think it's just a bit of a cop-out to just say it's the coach. It's the coach, right? I mean, schemes are one thing, but you either get beat or you don't. So again, we got blame pie coming up at what did I say? 11:15. So that'll be a good one. Yeah, man. I mean, it just is a confusing situation with the Niners, right? I look at the Niners and those weapons, and that defense, or what that defense was supposed to be, and they're almost just getting paper cut to death these days. It's just small, short pass. You got Jamar Chase, and you had opportunities. I mean, the defense had some takeaways. They got at least two fumbles. I know that.
Yeah.
So they had
almost an interception.
Almost an interception. So they had opportunities to do some things. They're just the machine just needs a little bit of WD-40. Yeah. Right? It was just rolling along. It's just getting
Grease
a little
the wheels a little bit.
Yeah, it's just Tin Man, right, from The Wiz, right? Put a little oil on me. That's what the Niners need, because right now, man, they just look, it's almost uninspired, uninspiring.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the first 5 weeks were too easy for them. Maybe, they were putting up points too easy, and now they just have struggled to kind of get that extra effort in. I definitely don't think that's what it is, but that kind of feels like a narrative thing that you can throw on top of it. I don't know what, because I think, we're going to talk about him a lot later, but there is, in this blame pie, there is Brock Purdy as well. Like, his play has definitely contributed to how shaky it's looked. Like, Brock was immaculate the first 5 weeks of the season. Like, he wasn't turning the ball over. And to me, if you're just going to look at the biggest difference from the Niners winning games to them now losing games, it's pretty clear and obvious that it's the fact that not just Brock, because Brock has definitely had his fair share, but let's not forget, like, Christian McCaffrey fumbled in the Vikings game as well. Right. Just in general, the Niners have been losing that turnover battle, and they had been absolutely dominating it in the weeks previous. So they just got to clean it up. They're not playing crisp, and maybe it's for some reason the fact that Debo and Trent Williams aren't playing is really affecting just the flow of the offense, but it just haven't looked the same exact team as they were in the first 5 weeks, not just in terms of the results not going their way, but just how they've been going about the games just hasn't seemed nearly as effortless as it felt the first 5 weeks.
No, and look, you're talking about two all-pros here with Debo and Trent Williams being out, so maybe it's just that simple, but I do believe, based on what we saw initially, and I've talked about how Niner fans were ready to ship out Debo because you got Christian McCaffrey and you like Brandon Ayuk. I get all that. But I think what we're realizing now is, based on the first 5 weeks, it seemed like the Niners had a huge margin of error.
Yeah.
Right? You could be missing a couple guys and they should still be able to get it done. Well, they must just be missing the two guys that does not allow them to get it done, because that doesn't seem to be the case. I think we all would have thought you still got George Kittle, right? You still got Ayuk. You got some younger receivers as well. You got Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. So I think that we believe that then defensively you got your guys. I think that, at least myself, I thought they could miss a couple guys and still hang around. Again, is this so much about the Bengals or it's about the Niners? Because these are two teams, and we'll get to your guy Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Hey, me and Kirk Cousins, add him to the list.
One and the same, man.
It's just, man, a lot of us elite athletes, what happens is our bodies are, too explosive for their own good. So guys like,
you just fire off.
So guys like, it's just me, Kevin Durant, Clay, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now Kirk Cousins, all of us just kind of, we're just way too athletic. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say.
And when you're performing at a high level, as
you guys all do,
as we all do, the same type of level, that's what happened.
It's tough. I mean, it wasn't great to see. It really, the Kirk Cousins stuff is tough. And I actually just got an update that it is official that MRI confirms Kirk Cousins' tore.
Did you watch the video?
Yes, I saw it live. Oh, I very much saw it live.
Man,
it was really tough to watch.
Yeah,
and, yeah. Of course, there's Niners ties into that as well. As Kirk is going to be a free agent, and it's going to be interesting to see kind of what this does for his free agency.
Yeah, that's too bad.
With all the Niners quarterback stuff going on, who knows if Kirk enters the chat in some weird way? Right. Maybe he can be a backup in San Francisco, or maybe maybe not. Who knows how his recovery is going to go? So that's definitely going to be interesting thing to follow. But for the Niners as well, the defense for me, and again we'll talk about this more when we talk about the blame pie, but I feel like the thing that made this game different than maybe in previous years also is the fact that the Bengals were able to put up 31. I feel like in the past, that Niners defense, like we talk a lot about the Niners offense being elite, that defense has always been top 5 in the NFL. Right. And part of that is the fact that they don't allow teams to put up 30 balls like that. I mean, a lot of the times it is, in the 20s, if the Niners can score 20 points, they're going to be able to at least be in most games. And the fact that, the Bengals were able to pretty much just carve the defense up and put up 31 points. That's not something that the Niners are really used to. A lot of the times that defense is going to shut down even the most elite of offenses. So maybe that defense is kind of taken a little bit too much of a slide for the team as a unit to kind of be able to sacrifice or to survive that.
Right. And all in all, when it comes to Brock, the whole conversation was, okay, Brock is, besides the whole real deal stuff, he was closer to being ready. And I had a lot of conversations about this because there was so much comparison between Brock and Trey Lance. Right. Okay. And my question is that it depends on who you ask. Is Brock ready or is he just more ready than Trey Lance? Mm-hmm. And it seems like the answer is he's just more ready than Trey Lance. So with that being said, when you look at the issues that have come up with Brock, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's actually okay. You expect that, right?
He's a young quarterback.
He's a young quarterback.
Yeah.
The reason you're not paying him yet, or the reason you decided to go with him is so you can pay your elite guys, your veterans, to make up for when Brock has those issues.
Exactly.
And that's what's not happening.
Great point. Right.
That's what's you're expected now. You can't do 3 turnovers, right, in the course of 4 drives or something like that, Brock. You can't do that.
What it was, yeah.
But at the same time, you can't put as much on Brock in terms of, hey, well, he's supposed to be a finished product. And I think so much of that conversation got a little bit misconstrued with Trey. And I don't think the Niners did a very good job. I think they were riding high. I think they had a little bit too much dip on their chip when it comes to Brock because he played so well. And it turned into Brock being ready when really he was just more ready and cheaper. And we just believe that he's just better than Sam Darnold.
Right.
So that's something that I don't think got communicated very well because he was playing so well that nobody ever came out and really said, hey, he's playing really well for where he is, but he's not a finished product. We're going to go through growing pains with him. I think it was so much of he's get Trey out of here. He's a real deal. He's good to go. And Brock Purdy,
he's a top 10 quarterback right now. Not just like you said, not just he's the most ready guy on the team. That wasn't the conversation. It was, no, this guy, not only is he the best guy on the team, he's one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah, or he can get there,
right,
this year. So we'll see what happens, man. Got to get to a break. When we get back, Emil Fergoso, 49ers Insider, will help us break down what is wrong in Santa Clara or San Francisco. People get mad when you say
really
that.
upset.
They get mad.
They finally showed not San Francisco this game as well when they did the cutaways.
You know what it reminds me of? And I'm going to go there, Simone. I see you behind the glass. It reminds me of the audiobook conversation.
Oh, gosh.
People get mad. People get mad when you say the Santa Clara 49ers. Hey, that's disrespectful. But where do they play?
In Santa Clara.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm just messing around, but people get really upset about that. Well, I didn't tell them to build it in Santa Clara. That's where it is.
Yeah.
That's where it is. All right.
Semantic.
Get into a break. When we get back, like we said, Emil Fergoso and much more Kings talk when we get to the top of the hour, 12 o'clock. So you don't want to miss that as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
The annoying runny nose, the constant sneezing, the itchiness, and battle just to catch your breath. If you suffer from seasonal allergies, sinusitis, or nagging sinus congestion, there's a natural, easy-to-use solution that can help provide fast, drug-free relief. It's called Navage, and it uses powered suction to rinse your nasal passages in seconds. Millions of people use Navage daily to help provide relief from seasonal allergies and sinus congestion. Medications treat the symptoms, but Navage treats the problem at the source, flushing out the allergens and pollen trapped in your nose. Navage also helps wash out airborne bacteria, dust, dirt, and viruses quickly and painlessly, so you can get back to breathing clearly again. Say goodbye to sinus suffering and hello to better breathing with Navage. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, and online at Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I have terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Monday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their 3rd straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. The things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The red and gold now drop to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Please welcome in Emil Fergoso, our 49ers insider, to the show right now.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, and we are joined, as Simone so eloquently put.
Stop.
I
butchered it.
I didn't mean it like that. I really did it. That's on me.
Or Emil. I'm sorry, Emil.
Honestly, I'd do so many jobs right now. I can take the Kings one too. Let's do it.
What's up, Emil? How's it going, man?
Good. How you doing, boys?
We're good.
Good.
We're good.
Yeah.
The question is, we're gonna do our blame pie segment here at 11:15. So, what are your initial thoughts on what the heck is going on with the 49ers?
You know, it's hard to fathom, and I've been there for all the home games, and I was there yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie, the superhero movie that parodies Spider-Man, where it's Drake Bell becomes a dragonfly, like a superhero. It's a whole it's a parody movie. Regardless, it feels like I'm watching Trick or Treat. It feels like I watched the Niners defense be the top of the league, and now we're watching a parody movie that will just never end. That's what it feels like watching the Niners right now. They don't look like the same team. It's like they lost their heart and their soul the last 3 weeks, frankly. And that's kind of what it's come down to, is they're not playing Niners football. They're not playing their standards.
What do you think has led to that? I mean, obviously, the Niners have kind of ran into this really bad injury bug where, Debo and McCaffrey and Trent Williams and even Drake Greenlaw and Diamador Lenore got hurt a couple weeks back as well. Like, is it the injuries, or what do you think kind of sparked this Jekyll and Hyde or trick or treat, as you call it?
Yeah, I don't think it's injuries, because the Niners have really gone through the injury bug the last few seasons and kind of come out, even last year, going to the third quarterback of Brock Purdy and going on that run. They've gone through their injuries and gone through the fire before. That's not what this is. It's come down, and they've all said it. It's all execution. They're not playing to their standards. They're not executing. I mean, they had 13 missed tackles yesterday.
Yeah.
13. That's not Niners football. Whatever they're doing right now. And then on offense, you have multiple turnovers in the red zone in multiple weeks. It doesn't make any sense. They're just not playing to their standards, and they have all the talent in the room. Absolutely. It's just something went askew after the week 5 win over Dallas, and they're kind of just scrambling to figure it out, because right now the 3 losses are sitting on their head like a rotten egg.
So, Emil, Fred Warner went on and he said that players got to make plays and coaches don't tackle. And Steve Wilks is getting a lot of heat. In your blame pie, how much heat should Steve Wilks be getting?
I think 50% of the blame on defense should be on Steve Wilks. I would say about 50%. I say 50% players and 50% coaches, because Fred Warner, the quote was, coaches don't win games, players do. And he's correct in that. But there's a caveat, because the coach has to scheme the players up in the right spot. And DeMeco Ryans was so good at that last year. He was a great problem solver for the Niners, especially when they struggled initially, but then they also got it going in that second quarter. In the third quarter, they dialed the blitzes. They got the right pressures. They got to the quarterback. It feels like DeMeco is kind of guessing, or not DeMeco, sorry. Steve Wilks is kind of guessing at times when it goes out there. I mean, yesterday you go into the Vikings game and you're calling all these zero blitzes, getting after the quarterback, and then a week later against the Bengals, you're scared to rush the passer. It seems you're running just 4-man stunts. You're putting back in coverage. You're playing soft. You're allowing all the underneath stuff that you've been getting cooked on for weeks now. You're just kind of letting it happen. It feels like they're not in sync at all. Like, the offense will play good for a series, the defense will play bad. The defense will play good for a series, the offense will play bad. They're just not together as a unit.
That sounds incredibly frustrating to deal with, because it's just, it seems like you plug one hole and then the other one starts leaking. And that's kind of what it seemed like the past couple of weeks. And part of that, obviously the trade deadline is tomorrow on Halloween. A lot of noise has been made about what the Niners should do. They have tons of cap space. Some people have, said they should continue to big fish hunt and kind of, try and bring in Brian Burns or a big name via trade, much like they did last year with the McCaffrey deal. What do you see in the cards for the Niners with the deadline so close?
It's tough, because there have been a lot of reports of trades and people they're looking at. They're looking at edge, looking at cornerback, and they're looking at tackle. All 3 things they've addressed before and tried to address in the offseason. Yet here we are in week 8, we're going to week 9, and they haven't addressed them, it seems. I do think they make a move by tomorrow. I would say a 75% chance they do add somebody, but who is it going to be? And is it going to be a big enough name? Is it going to be a problem-solving player? Because I frankly don't think one player can fix this team right now. I think it's a scheme and personality thing. I don't think that they are devoid of talent in any way, shape, or form. This is still the same team that beat Dallas and beat them down on primetime in week 5. It's still the same players. They're still relatively healthy. They're missing Trent Williams and Debo Samuel, but that's on offense. That's not defense. Their defense is pretty healthy. So they need to go into this week 9 bye and look themselves in the mirror and go, what is going wrong with this team? what is not going right? What do we have to improve on? Because something is not right. And like Kyle said yesterday, they have all the answers in the building. They just can't figure out what those answers are yet.
Well, Emil, we got one more question for you, and I think it's pretty impressive on our part, because we just dig deep here, and we almost got through this segment without asking you about Brock Purdy.
Oh, so
assess
so
Brock
close.
Purdy and his quarterback play.
I actually think he played very, very well for the first 40 minutes of that game. I think he kept them in the game, was one of the reasons why they were going toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow in the first place. It was the defense that was struggling initially. They just let him cakewalk down the field. And yes, you want to see more cohesion, obviously, between the offense and Purdy without Trent Williams, without Deebo Samuel. But Brock made some beautiful throws yesterday, including one to Brandon Ayuk in the second layer, hitting him deep. He had that dart before halftime to George Kittle up the seam for 35 yards. But the mistakes have been coming for Brock Purdy at the worst time in the game, in the red zone and in the fourth quarter. And those cannot happen for a young quarterback, especially one who has been so talented and who has all this weaponry around him. Because Brock Purdy is, I'm not going to say a system quarterback, but he's a go with the offense and with the scheme guy. And while the run game is not working, that's kind of holding him back a little bit. They need the run game to get going. Brock can't make those mistakes in the red zone. The second interception he threw was god-awful. It was terrible. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Logan Wilson was sitting right there in front of Jawan Jennings. And I just think sometimes Brock is trying to do a little too much. I still have a lot of faith in this kid. I just think that he needs to go into this week 9 bye and reset. That's really it.
Emil, one more because the Niners are heading into a bye this week. Just what would you like them as a group? You kind of said you want them to look in the mirror and try and just figure out what's going wrong, but what do you feel like should be the priority for this team heading into this bye and on the other side of it playing another tough team in Jacksonville?
Figure out what the hell is wrong with Nick Bosa. That's really what we're at right now. They paid this guy record-setting money to be the superstar, and he has 4 sacks through the first 8 weeks of the season. That's not good enough. Nick Bosa is a superstar talent, and they're not even double covering him like they were last year. They're single covering, and he's not getting to the backfield like he used to. I don't know what's missing for this team, but it feels like that spark, that oomph, that swarm mentality they had on D'Amico Ryans, it kind of left with D'Amico went to Houston. I don't know what's going on because they all the same players are here.
Yep.
They don't have that spark. They feel just not like the same team.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here thinking because it's hard to stay hungry when you're well fed,
for sure.
And I don't know. I don't know if that's what's going on with Nick Bosa. He was not out there, but I think we're too far into the season now to still talk about how he wasn't at training camp. Right. So I don't think that's an excuse either. Emil, thank you so much for the time. We will do it again next week. Well, they can't lose to a bye week. Only certain really bad teams can do that. So they should be solid, but we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for all the good work.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Appreciate you.
When we get back, it is time for Blame Pie, as we have talked about. Emil had some of that going as well. Chris has talked about it. I've talked about it. Get on the YouTube chat. It's going crazy right now. Let us know where your Blame Pie is. Call in as well. Let's get it going. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas Fast Guzzler. They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990.
On sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins, talking Kings, talking Niners. Thank you to Emil Fergoso, our 49ers insider, breaking down what is going on with the 49ers. And it's time to play. It's time to play Blame Pie. Okay, now I don't know what flavor the pie is. I don't think it tastes very good right now in terms of the Niners. What is your favorite kind of pie?
I don't like pie.
Funny you
just
ask.
like all pie. So I was gonna say this is just any flavored pie.
Why is that on brand? Why does that check out?
I'm glad you say that because people think I'm lying. Like they think that this is a bit that like I just don't like things. It's not a bit. It's very on brand.
No,
and
I can tell.
I don't like. There's not a pie out there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say
this
I shouldn't say this because me and Whitey got into this whole thing about like because I was like, oh, chocolate silk pie, I like that, but I wouldn't consider it pie. And then it was like, well, it becomes like a whole what is a pie conversation.
Simone, favorite pie?
Ooh.
Yeah, thank you. Just
lemon meringue.
Okay.
That was
All
a
right.
choice. You
Yeah,
weren't
Alan was
expecting
not
that.
expecting that. It was
No.
like some
Yeah.
good old
No,
fashioned.
I was in a different realm.
Cherry pie's great. Berry pies are great.
Wow. Okay. I
I'm
guess
a big
the only
fruit tart. I don't know if we consider a tart to be a pie, but I
Sure,
love
I'm
those.
into that.
Apparently,
Yeah.
as long as it has a crust, it's a pie. That's what I was told. That's what Verlade
We're not
is.
going down this. We're not
That's
going
what
down
I was
this
like.
rabbit
I
hole.
didn't like it when we did it the first time, and
We are
not
not.
trying to do it a second.
We are not going down this rabbit hole. Well,
Not right now.
I
Not
guess
at
nobody's going to
11:15.
ask me, so I'll just ask myself.
Alan,
Yeah.
what's your favorite pie?
It's
Thank
apple.
you.
Know why? Because I'm an American.
Oh,
I love apple pie. I love vanilla ice cream
Ooh, that's strong.
all day,
That's strong.
all day long.
That's great.
All right. Had to get it going.
That's
I
good.
love that.
916-339-1140. We are talking blame pie. And there are a
Yeah.
couple ways to do this because it could just be the defense has its own piece of the pie.
Right.
Or you could break it down to Steve Wilkes has his own piece of the pie.
Sub
And the
pies?
players,
Oh my
well, they're
God.
just slices.
Like mini pies.
No, they're all the
Okay.
same pie, but
Okay.
they're different slices, right? So I'm going, Steve
Pop
Wilkes.
pies.
Steve Wilkes, I'm going to go. I think I don't know that I can go higher than 40% for the whole pie.
Yeah, for the entire pie now.
You know what I mean?
It's tough to put. Like he would have to be. I mean, the Vikings game, you could maybe say, yeah, he kind of schemed them into a loss, but like he would have to be actively scheming them into losses.
Exactly. 916 on the text line. This D line needs help. Sad to say that, but with the highest paid
Guys,
defensive player in football.
I don't. How does this D line need help?
Well,
They don't need help.
No, they
They
don't.
need to, as Emil said, execute better. Like they don't need more help on
Yeah.
the defensive line. They have enough defensive line talent to get things done at a necessary rate. I don't think they need more help. You have the highest paid defensive end in Bosa. You
Yeah.
just paid Hargrave a ridiculous amount of money.
Mhm.
You just extended Eric Armstead. You trade for Drake Jackson, or I'm sorry, you trade for Randy Gregory. You already have Drake Jackson, who you took last year. You got Cleve Farrell, who's been a top 4 pick. He got a strip the other day, forced a fumble. Like, how much more help on the defensive line do y'all really need? I don't know.
I don't know.
Help themselves.
I can't go higher than 40 for Steve Wilkes, but that's still a significant.
That's a good. That's a
healthy,
probably the largest portion, right?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
So then you have the players who I think the players. I don't know. I would go
like
the players for the defense.
Yeah.
I
think
think
you could just do position
15,
groups. Yeah, like
15.
I would say the DBs in general. Like, I mean, they've been getting carved up.
And I think some of that I would think a part of the pie as well would be injury, just
For
in
sure.
general.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's a
not
5
having
to
Debo.
10%,
Yeah,
for
not
sure.
having Debo, not having Trent. And look, man, I'm sorry. I like to party like a Brock Star. I am riding dirty with Purdy. But Brock is going to get some of that pie.
Brock gets some of the pie for sure.
Brock is getting about 15.
I was going to say 15.
You got to get 15 to me, and I hope.
I don't even know what percentages we're sitting at right now.
No, we're just.
It's not all going to equal 100%.
It's a big pie.
Yeah,
it's a big
numbers
pie.
Are so tough.
916-339-1140. Phone lines are on fire right now. Let's go to Jeff, who wants to talk about his blame pie. What's up, Jeff? You're on with Stiles and Watkins.
Hello. So I like lemon meringue, but my blame is sort of unique. My wife and I are King season ticket holders, and we are both blind, and we've been season ticket holders since Golden One began. Nice. For some reason this year, we cannot get the radio feed in Golden One Center, so we can't even hear the game. So I don't know where the blame is, but something should happen.
Great. That has nothing to do with the 49ers.
Yeah, well, but at the same time.
Kings blame pie.
Yes, thank you. The Kings get some of this blame pie.
Everyone's getting some
of this pie.
Pretty sure you can also check out the Kings stream on SactownSports.com.
Of course.
There you
I'm
go.
not mistaken. We stream. You might. I don't know.
But there would be a Kings game going. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean,
I see what you're saying.
From what I understand, he's trying to hear the radio broadcast while watching the game.
While watching, hear the Niners while watching the Kings.
I don't think that's what he was trying to say. I think he was trying to because old school style is to, you listen to the radio while you're watching. Like there's a demographic of people that like to.
So he's talking about the Kings.
I believe that was a
complaint.
Was a Kings. I believe he was trying to listen air to just tell us, hey, I can't listen to the Kings games.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the Niners while.
No,
he was.
He played at the same time. So.
He bamboozled us. Is what just happened.
All right, let's go to JT. Hopefully, JT's blame pie
is relevant.
Is less confusing.
JT told me it was Niners, right, JT?
We'll talk about the Niners. We'll talk about the team at hand.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll give a good 20%, 30%, maybe to Brock Purdy. Seems like he's had what it's taken to go into a game with a good mindset and go in there and attack good defenses. We saw it against Cleveland a little bit. He was able to do it at moments against Minnesota. We were hoping he'd bounce back. Looked a bit more consistent in the first half, looking he was going to battle with Kirk Cousins, and then we saw some declines with bad interceptions in the second half. And then today, yesterday against Cincinnati, he had it in the first half. Seemed like he was fairly consistent. Him and Joe Burrow, I thought it would have been a game of the year contender if Brock would have continued to play. He did the first half, but he declined through some really, really bad picks. Seems like he's just trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Seems like he has looks, and that pick that he threw to Logan Wilson, I think that was a great defensive play by Wilson. But with a guy just straight in front of him, even if there's a slight chance that your receiver gets a little bit open, I think he's trying to hit too smaller windows. I think he's got to take his time. Let the offensive line that's done a fairly good job of protecting him this year, let them continue to work, let them to open up the pockets for him. And he's been very good at making those good, quick decision reads, even when the pocket's closing in. So I think he's just got to calm down a bit. I think a bye week will be really good for him to reset, get the whole team, because when that offense goes out there and Brock those picks, and then you saw immediately after he threw that bad pick, they threw a quick touchdown to Jamar Chase. So I think offensive production has – honestly, last few seasons been very, very important to our defensive mindset. And our defense has had a bad habit when our offense is going out there lazy. You saw it in the NFC Championship when Purdy went out. I know quarterback going out with an injury is a lot different than him playing bad, but I mean, you can't expect the defense to go out there with 100% mentality when their offense isn't backing them up. So you just got to hope that both sides of the ball can get it done and these Niners can get back on track.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, great call, JT. Great call. I don't think I can go higher than
15 to 20 feels right. I mean, some of those the to me that Luke Wilson pick was bad. I think he was standing right in front of the receiver, and I don't know how Brock didn't see him.
Yeah, the thing for me is that you can't do the excuses thing, right? You can't do the excuses thing because I saw somebody say, "Well, he didn't see the defender." What are we talking about?
Yeah. I mean, he was standing right in front of the receiver. I think he very much saw. But I do think he made a good point in saying that this isn't really something you can blame on the offensive line either. It's not like Brock has had tons of pressure in his face with Trent. He's definitely obviously dealt with some pressure, but that interception that he threw to Luke Wilson was not because the pocket was collapsing and there was a guy seconds away or a half second away from sacking him and he had to get rid of the ball. Like that was just Brock making a bad play, because I think a big thing that people were concerned about, especially in the preseason, was the line and the line depth. And with Trent Williams being out and, him being obviously one of, if not the best linemen in the NFL right now, like you would think that the Niners would really have struggle keeping Brock upright, but that hasn't been the case. So you can't
No.
even use that as an excuse for why Brock has struggled. So I do think that if you are going to blame pie it out, it does feel maybe a little bit right to give Brock that 15 to 20%.
And oddly enough, and I don't know if it's because, Kyle Shanahan, just the way he carries the team, and it's Steve Wilkes or it's this or it's that. Kyle Shanahan should get some blame, right? I mean, Kyle Shanahan is in this weird spot where somehow he just doesn't really find himself in situations where people are looking at him and holding him accountable. You get that extension in a weird time where it wasn't really completely necessary, but you go to the extension, you decide, hey, all right, we're going to, Jed York says, hey, we're going to ride with you guys. We like what you're doing. We like the direction that you're moving in. And now all of a sudden, everything is rolling. You're undefeated. And now all of a sudden you're stuck in the mud and you're not able to get out of it. So I think Kyle Shanahan, and it's funny to even say can't go over 15 because how could a head coach not have any blame when your team isn't playing well?
Well, and like Emil said, players do go out there and play, but a big part of for sure executing is a big part of this blame pie as well. But how much of it is the players being set up for success? And how much do we put Brock Purdy? Do we put Brock Purdy's concussions into any of this? He looked fine, but it feels like we kind of quickly forgot about the fact that Brock was not practicing for until Thursday or Friday of last week, and then kind of just got thrown in there. Not that I think that's a reason why they lost, but just how much are these guys being properly prepared these last 3 weeks? Have they had the right level of focus during the week? They had that huge win against the Cowboys and they haven't looked the same since. Is there a little bit of feeling too much of their oats? Do they feel like they are better? Do they feel like they're on that other level and don't really have to give their 100% every week? I feel like, that's coaching. Not having your guys focused and dialed in and ready to attack the task at hand. That's what the coach's job is. That's what it is.
That's
the players
what it
go out
is.
there and play. Coaches got to make sure their players are ready.
Yeah. And look, McCarthy, a guy like that on the Cowboys, anytime anything bad happens,
it's his fault.
It's his fault.
He's getting 95% of the blame
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, more Kings talk, more Niners talk. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. Then again, next year, you get the latest iPhone. Every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite.
Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
The glory and the greatness are only a few days away. The 40th running of the Breeders' Cup World Championships at Santa Anita is finally here. The ultimate racing showdown that every owner, trainer, and jockey around the globe has in their sights. With $31 million in purses and awards, there's a lot at stake, but only the best will claim the coveted title of World Champion. Coverage begins Friday, November 3rd on USA and continues Saturday, November 4th on USA and NBC. Visit breederscup.com to learn more.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Did you know one of the worst things you can do is turn on your furnace after it's been sitting there all summer, gathering dust, without giving it a thorough tune-up first? Think about it. What if your car had been sitting in the garage for 6 months without ever running? Any piece of machinery that's been sitting needs to be tuned up. So call Bell Brothers. We'll tune up your furnace for just $87 and guarantee the results. We guarantee that your tuned-up furnace will save you $87 on your energy bills. And we guarantee that your tuned-up furnace won't break down during the season, or we'll immediately refund your money. No questions asked.
Don't delay. Small problems that are easy and inexpensive to fix can quickly turn into big, expensive problems.
Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule your furnace tune-up at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Seth Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Seth Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Well, Monday Night Football gets two teams who need the extra day to prepare. Rough losses for Las Vegas and Chicago last week, and Detroit got worked by Baltimore. As for the Silver and Black, time to find something in the run game. Josh Jacobs now 7 straight games under 4 yards per carry, and it won't be easier this week as Detroit is number 6 against the run. That is your Silver and Black Report. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Monday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their third straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. And the things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The red and gold now drop to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome back in to more Stiles and Watkins.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, we are back. Talk a little bit of Blaine Pie, what's going on with the Niners. 12 o'clock, we will get back on the Sacramento Kings. And 12:45, Beamin' or Dreamin'. So you don't want to miss that.
Today feels like a good day for Beamin' or Dreamin'.
It's a great day.
You got to win, you got to lose. So I feel like a lot of people can pull whatever side they want to. And it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to hear where people are falling now that the, because once you lose one game, it's like, all the perfect stain is gone. It reminds you that we're all human and it's not going to be some immaculate season where the Kings go 82-0. So it'll be interesting to hear how sober people are right now.
Right. And the way it happened, who it happened to.
Exactly.
I think the opportunity, and that's what we talked about on Friday, the opportunity to play the Warriors, then the Lakers is something, right? If you lose to the Warriors and then your next game is the Rockets and you win, you feel better. But You beat the King.
It doesn't feel like redemption.
No, you beat the King. You beat AD. You beat all those.
They were healthy.
Yes,
a healthy Laker team.
Right. You beat all those ridiculous Laker fans that were in there doing way too much. I'm surprised they didn't try to start the wave or something ridiculous in there. And then at the end, like I said, I'm still getting used to the Sacramento thing in general. At the end, there was a beat LA chant.
Yes.
Right. That's a thing out here too?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I don't want to say we're hipsters to this, but I'm pretty sure it feels like we started beat LA.
Well, I don't know who
feels like
is.
in the early 2000s, the Kings.
I'm pretty sure.
I that could also just be my first recollection of the beat LA chant, but it really felt like we were the first people in my lifetime that took it really seriously to beat LA.
I believe it was the Giants.
It definitely might have been.
I'm pretty sure it was the Giants.
It would make a lot of sense.
That's where I remember it from.
It's like Boston never got in on it.
I'm sure
back
they
in
did.
the day.
I mean, yeah, that's why I'm pretty sure that it started somewhere else. It feels like one of those things where, LA is an idea. So like everyone kind of wants to beat the glitz and the glamour and we're the hard-nosed blue collar team.
I just know Giants, Dodgers.
For sure.
I don't know.
For
So
sure.
that's what it felt like to me. But I'm also the guy that thought I believe that we have one thing started at I didn't realize it was a thing.
Yeah.
I thought it started at Temple University. I'm very confused.
You were like,
I'm this is like a national.
Why is U.S. soccer team using this?
I'm very confused. Why is it being used everywhere else? I didn't know how influential we were, and then I realized that everybody was doing it. So there you go. There you go. All right, going back to Niners talk. Like we said, 12 p.m. We will get back to the Kings, and really it's just more of the NFL in general.
Yeah,
because you have the Chiefs, who lost to the Broncos.
Yikes.
And
my gosh.
They kind of had that coming because they almost lost to the Broncos the first time. Right. They almost
unnecessarily close.
Unnecessarily close.
Yeah, Chiefs didn't look like themselves.
No, they haven't. And they still don't have a receiver. They might end up having wide receiver tryouts.
They should
at some point.
Like it was Invictus, wasn't that the movie with the Invincible.
Invincible with Vince Papale.
Yes,
I've seen that movie far too many times.
Right. Where he tries out for receiver, right, for the Eagles, and then
they get him on special teams.
Exactly.
And he's got to wear QB pads because he's just too clunky to run. Oh, Mark Wahlberg. What a guy.
That was Mark Wahlberg.
It was Mark Wahlberg. What a guy. What a guy. So you have the Bills who took care of business. I thought Baker might make it spicy. That didn't end up happening. You had the Jets Giants. I mean, just the battle of the
gross. That game was disgusting. Did you see how that game ended, by the way?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. The Giants, they were up 3 with 30 seconds left. Have like a 40, maybe a 50-yard kick to make it a 6-point game with under a minute to go. Missed the kick. Jets get the ball at the 40-yard line.
Right.
Zach Wilson, of all people, makes 2 throws to put him into field goal position, send it to overtime, and then win it in overtime. Just disgusting.
Yeah.
Just a disgusting act of football.
Yeah, and look, once the Niners are finished with their bye, they got Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars waiting for them.
Red hot.
That is going to be a very tough game. The Jaguars and what they've been able to do. Trevor Lawrence is the only guy from that heavy quarterback draft that is actually worth anything at this point in time. I mean, Trey Lance, I guess, I don't know, right? But and same with Zach Wilson. Some of these guys we don't. Justin Fields feels like he has taken a step back.
Yeah.
Now he really can't even stay on the field. That's a bigger issue at this point in time. The Eagles, Eagles only won 38-31, but it's a divisional opponent.
Sure.
They almost lost to him the first time. I think the Eagles are happy they don't have to see the Commanders again because they definitely won't have to see them in the playoffs. And then you got them boys in Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys, who taking it back to the Niners. And a lot of people are saying that the Niners peaked too early. And I was one of those people. I also don't even actually know what that means. Right? Like when you say the Niners peaked too, and I literally tweeted it yesterday, and I have no clue what it means.
I mean, I would guess it means you're playing your best football at the start of the season, not at the end of the season, which is really what matters, I guess.
You can unpeak and then repeat.
So that's the thing is it's just premature to say, I guess, at this moment in time, because, it's the middle of the year and you got time to get healthy. And again, as I said earlier, this is almost the time where all teams pick up losses right now.
So the Cowboys have their, I don't know, I'd probably call it their signature win on the season.
I would say so,
now, beating the Rams 43-20. Vikings get the W, but they really lost the game because they lost one Kirk Cousins. And going back to his Achilles, man, and if you're just now tuning in, I tore my Achilles in June. I am making my way back. I did not get the weird Aaron Rodgers bridge surgery. I have listened to Dolphins once or twice, but not really too often. And now you have Kirk Cousins, and it's really different because Kirk Cousins, again, no spring chicken. He's been around. He's been around the block for a while. Yeah. And then you have Aaron Rodgers, and if you're looking at both these guys coming back from the injury, obviously this is a couple months later. If you have a situation like that, I mean, Kirk Cousins, I'm not saying your career is over, but
it's different. It's definitely different at that.
You know, where somebody's going to take a flyer on Kirk Cousins, but I don't even know if you are looking for a quarterback. I don't think that he will be coming in. Is it crazy to say that he will not be coming in as a starter?
I know. I said it earlier.
He's
like
35.
when I was talking about him maybe going to the Niners, I was like, maybe he can be the backup for Brock Purdy. And then when the second I said it, I was like, is that true? Even though it just came out of my mouth, do I even believe that? And I kind of think that might be the case just by circumstance. Like, I don't know who, unless you're just really desperate, which I don't think that team, like maybe the Falcons or something, if they strike out in the quarterback draft. But like, what's the justification for paying Kirk Cousins, who's, I would imagine, I mean, Kirk's always been bagged out. Like, that's been the thing that he's been excellent at is collecting the biggest check possible. I don't think he's going to take less than like $20 million to be a quarterback somewhere. And who's going to take the risk on a 30, I think he'll be 36 at that point, a 36-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles who already had some questions about how good you can be with him as your guy. So it probably wouldn't surprise me if he's going to be coming in as the backup for next year. And obviously it'll be a competitive race, whoever he's going to be with, but I don't think it's a guarantee that he's just going to come back and be the same guy, because this is kind of around the age when if we remember Kobe, when he tore his Achilles, it was the thing that really changed his career. Like, he was never able to fully recover from that. And I think we're going to see a similar thing with Kirk. And I still believe that we're going to see a similar thing with Aaron Rodgers as well. I don't care how fast he recovers. I just don't think the Achilles is not an ACL. It's not it's, ever since Adrian Peterson tore his ACL, it feels like guys come back within 6 to 8 months of tearing that thing. And then, by the year after getting the surgery, you don't even remember that they got it. The Achilles has not been that. The Achilles has been something that you might not hurt your Achilles again, but you're going to hurt your calf or your hamstring or your foot. It's something that just, you're never going to fully recover from it, especially at the age that these guys are at.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Not you though, Alan. You're good.
No.
You're good. You're fine.
Well,
You'll be 100% coming up pretty soon.
Look,
you don't have to worry about that.
I'm just trying to play catch, man. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to shoot some hoops every now and then. I'm not trying to win a Super Bowl. You had the Falcons and Titans. Will Levis, they might have a guy.
They might, or next week he'll throw 4 interceptions.
Right.
I'm a lot more willing to believe the latter.
It's just funny to me because we talk so much about, the Niners trying to figure it out. I mean, the Titans had a very small window where Ryan Tannehill just played pretty darn well.
Yep.
Weren't able to get it done. And similar to the Jaguars, the first go round when, they had everything going on over there and you didn't get it done. You have Ryan Tannehill. Nobody's really sure what you're doing. You're drafting these quarterbacks kind of helter-skelter, not late in the draft, but not really
early enough to be like franchise.
Right, because you're too good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the Titans are doing. And I really thought that my dad came to me and he asked for a couple games. And I said Falcons just because I don't know what the Titans are. And then Will Levis decides, of course, since I picked the Falcons, to become whoever the heck he's supposed to be on those highlight reels from Penn State and everything that he was doing. Dolphins, Patriots, man. Again, it was in Miami, but they are a team who we know where they're at. We just don't know when things change a little bit and when the weather breaks, who are you going to be?
Yeah.
It's the same question.
Yeah. I still don't trust Tua either. I know he's playing well and I know he's doing a great job of giving the ball to Tyreek Hill, but I still can't see in the same way I think people view Brock Purdy. I kind of really struggle to see in a playoff game, in a playoff atmosphere, you're down, 10 points in the middle of the third quarter. I just have a really tough time seeing Tua personally making plays to lead drives. But I mean, that's going to be the thing that he's going to try and prove the rest of the season, is that this isn't just them playing in good weather. This isn't just Tyreek Hill is faster than everybody else and we just give them the ball. Like they need to show to me. They don't need to prove it to anybody, but I think the thing that a lot of people still need to see is how this team looks against good teams in cold weather.
Right. And then you have the Saints beating the Colts, but the Colts, the Minshew magic is not still going. Texans, kind of a confusing loss.
Yeah,
I don't know
love
what
this
happened.
Texans team,
that was my lock.
Yeah.
That was my lock of the weekend, and clearly it wasn't a lock. We got to get to a break. When we get back, we'll continue to break them down. And then we're getting back to Kings talk, as you already know what it is. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches on my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple of people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Are you a business owner in need of financing? Then you need Swish Funding, the better way to get the funding you need. Our simple application process takes just minutes, with funding as soon as one business day. At Swish Funding, we focus on your business cash flow, not your personal credit score. And we're ready to help with funding from $5,000 to $5 million. If you've been in business for 1 year and have monthly revenue of at least $25,000, you could get the affordable funding you need with no collateral at swishfunding.com. That's SWISH funding.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Get your retirement savings to play ball with your retirement plan. Call Cap Trust today at 916-924-7527 or log on to captrust.com.
Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. Third official show, don't you know? And things are going pretty well. We just wanted to take a second during our Blame Pie segment. I believe his name was Jeff. Jeff called in. Jeff, it was a little muffled. We played back everything over the last break, and we now know what you were saying when you talked about you and your wife being blind. So thank you for calling in. Apologies for any confusion there. Obviously, we were talking Niners, so it kind of threw us for a loop a little bit, but please call back in. And Simone, our a wonderful producer will take care of you and help you with that information. So hopefully you can hear the games, because we definitely want to be able to help you get that experience with your wife. Just wanted to reach back out on that because we weren't sure what happened there, and now we're getting word. So we wanted to make sure that we took care of you. So thank you for calling and thank you for listening to the show. Okay, as we continue to power through the NFL, as we get ready to reopen the Kings and the takeaways from the weekend with a really good article from The Athletic, let's finish up the NFL talk.
Let's do it.
For now, we'll get into Niners a little bit later. Browns Seahawks. Seahawks are able to win. Seahawks are similar to the Eagles to me, to where it's doesn't always look good, but they're just finding ways to win. Now, they did beat, who was it, PJ Walker, T for Temple U, but that is something that the Niners weren't able to do.
Exactly.
So
Seahawks got to feel good about it.
Are they contenders or pretenders?
I would say they're a lot more pretender than contender, but that's not necessarily meant to say that the Seahawks are bad. I think that they're still a good team, but I don't see a world in which the Seahawks win the Super Bowl this year. I can't.
Is it Geno?
It's Geno. It's just honestly is Geno. And I did just see it just cross my timeline here that the Seahawks did just make a trade for defensive lineman Leonard Williams. That's no joke. That is no joke. Leonard Williams is one of the best D tackles in the NFL. So that's a great move for them. But I just don't see it from Geno. They have the weapons. I really love Kenneth Walker. I think he's an explosive back. Smith and Jigba had kind of a breakout game a little bit. He had two touchdowns on Sunday. So they clearly have the firepower to get it done on the offensive end. I don't love their defense. I know we've seen some good things from Devon Witherspoon, their top 5 pick from this year, but for the most part, I don't think that's a championship defense, and I just don't think Geno Smith is going to be good enough to orchestrate that offense in big games.
It's just Geno.
It really is just Geno. And it's not even that Geno's bad. It's just I don't think he's good enough.
I can't wait for Niners Seahawks whenever that is.
It's going to be so good. We get that sandwich, man. It's going to be really, really fun couple weeks where it's going to be the Seahawks, and then Eagles, and then Seahawks again.
Woof.
I cannot
First
wait.
Seahawks game, Thanksgiving.
Woo. Wow.
Someone's getting a turkey leg.
Who is eating the turkey leg? Ooh. I will never forget Richard Sherman eating that turkey leg.
That was
when he was still a Seahawk.
Yes, when he was a Seahawk.
He kind of reps. He almost reps the Niners harder.
He does. No, he definitely does. But I think that's a big Russell Wilson thing.
Yeah.
I think he really doesn't look back on that time. I think that's where he loves his teammates, didn't love the team.
Well, same with Marshawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
it
with
seems
Marshawn.
like there's two different teams on that squad, if you will.
Chiefs, Broncos, we already talked about it a little bit. The Chiefs, man, 9 points. And I know the Broncos defense is pretty darn good, but the Chiefs have definitely found out how their limit with Patrick Mahomes and not giving him weapons that can break off, that can, do different things, that can be, I guess, decent wide receivers, right? I mean, we're not even talking elite here, just average.
This kind of reminds me of like that season where the Warriors ended up getting the Wiseman pick, and like it was Steph Curry for like 20 games before they sat him down, and it was just like Steph and like, JTA.
Right. That's when he had the high top,
Damon Jones.
And
it was just like, okay, Steph Curry's really good, guys, but like I think we're pushing the limits here on what his teammates can be and expecting success.
Yeah.
Saying that, Chiefs are still 6-2.
They're 6-2, but I mean, if I'm an AFC team, I'm licking my chops.
Yeah,
right now.
they're just very vulnerable. It just for the first time, it really feels like there's not Patrick Mahomes is someone to be feared, but it doesn't feel like the Chiefs as a total unit is like an insurmountable mountain that can't be climbed.
No, this could be the year, and I know, the Bills kind of remind me of the Clippers a little bit, because you're just this could be the year. This could be the year. Now Josh Allen actually is on the field, so it's a little bit different. But
shout out Kawhi.
I'm gonna sound like that guy, but this could be the year. I feel like the Bills, if they put it together,
I really feel the same way.
The Chiefs could definitely be had.
I'm not sleeping on the Bills.
I would also put this team in this category. Ooh. Ravens, as they beat the Cardinals 31-24. I know.
I'm so unimpressed. I just can't. These guys are like the Eagles. They're really like the Eagles too, where it's just they keep winning games, but every week I feel like I look at the scores and I'm like, I feel like you guys should be beating the Cardinals by a little bit more. I feel like you guys should be beating the Commanders by a little bit more. And it feels like once you start to play those really good teams, like Lamar had 157 yards passing against the Cardinals. you're not going to beat the Bills. You're not going to beat the Bengals throwing for 151 yards from Lamar. I just feel like their offense has not been nearly as explosive as what it's been when, for example, when Lamar was MVP, or like we've been saying, we were promised that this was the year the Ravens were going to throw the football around the field.
Right. It's starting to happen a little
bit more. Yeah, for sure. Zay Flowers has been great addition. They're feeding him like crazy, but it doesn't feel like this Ravens team has that pop that's kind of necessary.
Bears, Chargers. The Chargers get that done. Obviously, Justin Fields didn't play. Only the Raiders were able to lose to the Bears when Justin Fields was not even playing.
Yeah, I watched like very minimal of this game because we were at the Kings game last night, and from what I understand, I missed nothing but Justin Herbert just tearing them apart.
No.
Don't feel bad about it.
No, not at all.
And I think, can we be done with this Tyler Bagent? Do I even need to know how to pronounce his name?
Hey, everyone, look.
Fun story.
Brock Purdy, that's old news.
No,
we got our new
underdog
story.
It was crazy when Brock Purdy was doing, not that Bagent did anything close, but like I feel like people were a lot more willing to accept Tyler Bagent as this possible fun Jeremy Lin story than they ever gave Brock Purdy. It felt like it was hate from the jump street.
But I think that's because the Bears are bad.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you're doing that and you don't have all pros all around you,
very grateful.
And the clock has already hit midnight. Yep. So Cinderella's slipper. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Justin Fields might still be out.
And on the Justin Fields side, what's going on, brother?
I think it's done. Like, I think he's done as a quarterback. Like when he got hurt in that week, he was playing the Vikings. He got hurt in the fourth quarter. Tyler Bagent had more passing yards just in the fourth quarter than Justin Fields had in the entire 3 quarters leading into it. It just feels like they, for whatever reason, I don't know if they're stuck between this. We're trying to run him less and make him more of a pocket passer, but it doesn't feel like they're able to move the ball when he's out there for whatever reason, unless they just throw a screen pass to DJ Moore that he takes 80 yards.
And last year, that was not, when you watched, that was not sustainable at all. He just running around.
He was just running.
He was just running around doing a bunch of, Herculean things.
It was one read and take off.
Right. So later in the show, we're going to talk about a really high prospect who is just committed to a school, and we are going to talk about other prospects that Chris and I had on our list and we thought were going to hit and maybe did not hit. And Justin Fields is kind of on that list for me.
Big one.
I was especially last year, I wasn't victory lapping, but I was, Niners, how could that not work? How could that not work? And we're seeing it very possible that it maybe would not have worked.
Probably not.
No. And tonight, to finish off Week 8, Raiders at Lions. Both teams got smacked last week, so both teams are looking for some give back to get back on the right track. And I'm pretty sure the Niners are going to, or the Lions are going to take care of business. I can't see the Raiders. The Raiders are a mess. If you're a Raider fan,
I'm sorry.
Number 1, I'm sorry. Number 2, I would be hoping to just continue to lose. Get Drake May, get Caleb Williams, and you get, you just get a fresh start, new coaching staff. That's what I would do. You can't continue to live in this 5 to 8 win purgatory. It doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, after they lost last week to the Bears, there was already no hope from me personally. But then when you lose to the Bears, you had an opportunity to be 4-3, and now you're 3-4, probably about to be 3-5. I agree. I just think the Raiders need to embrace the tank. And what's like the best possible outcome for the Raiders this year? Like an 8-9 finish? Like I don't know what there would be to even hold out hope for. So I agree. I would play Aiden O'Connell as much as possible.
Yeah.
If you're not going to trade Devontae Adams, can you at least give him the ball?
Right.
Please.
It's bad. That's a waste of a career. I don't know on whose end. And, my mom, she always said something, and I think a lot of parents say this to you as well. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And Josh McDaniels ain't it.
No.
How many different opportunities is this man going to get to tell you and to show you that he is not that guy?
I don't know.
And he's not. So
maybe the Raiders should hire Lane Kiffin again.
Anybody. Well, no.
I just mean while they're giving guys extra chances, we know that it's not going to work out.
Run it back. Gruden is he coaching somewhere else? No,
sure.
please
not again.
Please not again. But Josh McDaniels is not it. All right, get into a break. When we get back to Kings talk.
Please.
We are discussing takeaways from the weekend. That depth that we talked about and the Athletics' 4 takeaways from the Kings this weekend as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Monday, I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their third straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. And the things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The red and gold now drop to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. A warm reminder that all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Now it's time to get back to more Stiles and Watkins right here on Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. Had to get some football in right there, Niners. You know, one thing as we look here, on the text line, 707 says, both the 49er fans team and media need a big humble pie split 3 ways. LT and Napa. LT, I don't know
put your
why.
name on it too. I love that.
I don't know
LT.
why, but I'm going to guess that you're a Raiders fan. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling you're a Raiders fan. Let
Raiders,
me know.
they used to have their camp in Napa. So
Let me know if you're a Raiders fan, because that sounds very Raiders.
One more time. Can
me.
you read it to me one more time?
Both the 49er fans, team, and media need a big humble pie split 3 ways. That's from LT and Napa. So I think he's saying,
they needed some humble.
You guys were feeling yourself a little
too much.
So a Niner fan wouldn't say that.
No, definitely not.
So I'm pretty sure you're a Raider fan.
Definitely
LT, let me
wouldn't say
know
Niner fans.
if you're a Raider fan or not. One thing, as we get ready for or get into Kings talk, but one thing that we did not mention talking Niners is the rise, the return, as we are a day before Halloween from the crypt. Trey Lance conversations have returned.
What?
Yes.
I missed this.
I
completely missed
There
this.
is a content creator, Ryan G. Hensley, who has typically leaned more Trey, right? And you see Brock struggling a little bit, Sam Darnold, that whole thing. All he did was post a picture of Trey Lance holding a football. I don't think he said anything. And it has gotten quoted all around. And that's really the question. If Brock is having these growing pains, is there any part of you or the fan base that thinks, I mean, if Brock is going to have these growing pains with his limited ceiling, why didn't we just keep Trey?
I think it's because it kind of goes to what you were saying earlier, where I just think Brock was a whole lot more ready now. Like, yes, we're seeing some struggles now that we probably would have seen from Trey in the first set of games. Like, maybe it's just reversed. Maybe Trey has a bad 3 to 5 first games and then figures it out in this middle chunk, whereas Brock clearly was more ready those first 5 games and now has struggled. But I just feel like with Trey, it was just a lot more of a dice roll. And with how many dice rolls the Niners have already taken this year with Steve Wilks, with Jake Moody, or now you can even throw Brock Purdy into that equation, as he's still a rookie or a young quarterback in this league, a young, inexperienced quarterback relatively in this league. Like, those are already enough risks you're taking when you're trying to win a Super Bowl. You're going to throw in the fact that you're throwing in a guy who's probably not ready and going to actually be figuring it out on the fly. Just feels like a risk too much for me. I don't have an issue with it. Like, I think Trey wasn't ready to play football right now.
Well, this is why they made the move. Because if Trey still was here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're having that conversation last week.
It would be a complete nightmare. People would have been, get Trey in there, and that's what he didn't want. Right. So I think, for better or for worse, Kyle Shanahan just said, hey, man, we're going to ride with Brock. I think we'll be okay, but either way, it would be way too toxic to have Trey on this roster.
Could you imagine?
Because there are going to be growing pains with Brock. We don't know what, but can you imagine this week?
That's what I'm saying.
With a bye week. With the bye week.
And you had this concussion stuff with Brock. You had this. Could you imagine, if last week it would have been oh my gosh, I think Trey is actually going to get an opportunity this week. I think it's going to happen. And then at the last second, he pulls the curtain and he puts Brock back in. And then Brock has that performance. They lose. And then, you say head into the bye week.
You probably have to start Trey.
That's why that is, you said it perfect. That is why they traded Trey Lance, was to avoid that situation we just laid out. Because right here, right now, we would be talking about, look, I know Brock was good these first couple weeks, but what we've seen, you're not getting any worse if you're throwing Trey Lance out there. Or you're not going to have that many more mistakes if you throw Trey Lance out there. Why not give him a chance? You never gave him a real chance. Now would be a great time to give him a chance. And we're not having that conversation when it comes to Sam Darnold. I tell you that right here.
No. I think there are a couple people that think, hey,
maybe Sunday would have been an opportunity.
That would have been the opportunity. And towards the end of the game, I don't think Brock got checked out, and I haven't seen anything yet. But that he got
right. I
tackled,
saw
and
that.
ball got,
I didn't see that in real time.
His head got whipped down, kind of similar to some of the hits that Tua took last season. I don't think anything has really come of it. And they do have a bye week. But something to keep an eye on, because Brock isn't the biggest guy in the world. Right, and he is doing a lot. He's doing a little bit too much right now. You want to keep running around and, playing backyard football. You got to be careful with that stuff, man. You got to be careful. And part of that, to be fair, talking about the blame pie, is that offensive line. Right. I don't think Brock necessarily wants to be doing that per se, but if your offensive line is breaking down, you got to get out of Dodge. And that's what Brock has been doing.
It's been a good job of being mobile, too. I know I was kind of trolling the
10-yard split.
I was trolling the 10-yard split with Lamar, but, he does a really good job of escaping the pocket. And he is, especially for, that 10 to 15-yard chunk, he can be pretty lethal with his legs for that 10-yard
That's all you
sprint.
really need.
Yeah.
That's all you really need.
Yeah,
we don't need you. We don't
need 90-yard Terrell Pryor run. Shout out Terrell Pryor,
beautiful.
who's definitely going to be on our list of
oh
guys
man,
that we thought were going to be real.
Yes,
was.
Unfortunately, he went to Ohio State.
Exactly,
and that's just once you go to Ohio State,
that was the
be
death
QB,
call right there.
That's just not going to work.
Shout
All right,
CJ Stroud.
Takeaways from the weekend: The Athletic had a nice write-up.
The
4 takeaways. So we'll get to that, and then we will give our takeaways. And 916-339-1140. What are your takeaways from the Kings weekend as we get ready for Beamin' or Dreamin' at 12:45?
I forgot about that.
Let's get to those takeaways from The Athletic.
So shout out Hunter Patterson for The Athletic. We'll definitely have him on sometime very, very soon. He wrote his takeaways from this weekend. Of course, the Kings played Golden State on Friday and the Lakers last night. Hunter's first big takeaway is the biggest and most obvious one. Fox's absence leads to Monk's mastery. And that's a great way of putting it, because first off, De'Aaron was fantastic, even leading into his injury and post-injury. I almost didn't think he was hurt because of the way he was playing after he came back from the injury. I saw him leap 5 feet. It felt like he jumped 10 feet in the air to close out on the corner.
Hit a couple threes.
Hit a couple threes, hit an and one, if I'm not mistaken, on AD. So he looked really healthy. Obviously couldn't finish the game. And Malik was just incredible in that fourth quarter and in that overtime, really just sealed the game for the Kings. So that was definitely a big takeaway. The fact that, even if De'Aaron doesn't have it going in the fourth quarter, Malik is more than capable of kind of picking up the load, and he's going to have to if De'Aaron's going to miss the next couple games. It'll be really interesting to see if Mike Brown maybe throws Malik Monk into that starting lineup. Is he going to throw Davion? Is Malik just going to play more minutes and be that primary ball handler? So that's going to be really interesting to just kind of monitor with De'Aaron out.
So in the press conference, Mike Brown was asked about that. He said he really wasn't even just talking about, I think, when De'Aaron's out, but just in general with Malik Monk. And he said that Malik Monk, what he's able to do, he thinks he can be a high-level player 2 ways. He says when Malik Monk locks in defensively, he can be really good. So we're on Malik. We know that what he can do offensively, but he can also be elite defensively.
Love to see it.
And Malik Monk is the number 1 rated player when it comes to the pick and roll.
Really?
He is the number 1 player in the NBA. And guess who the number 1 roller is in the NBA?
I would guess Domantas Sabonis.
JaVale McGee.
Oh, of course.
JaVale's
been really good on the roll.
Yeah.
They've been feeding him on that pick and roll too.
So, and we've seen some misses, but we've seen a lot more makes when it comes to what they've been able to do. And I think that Malik Monk and his growth, I know Mike Brown also said that he likes Malik off the bench for
Yes,
that spark.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have it if you start him. So
I'd be surprised if he enters the starting lineup. Mike has been very he's been very, very adamant about bringing Malik.
It might be Davion.
It more than likely will be. And it'll be interesting also to see if Davion can pick up the scoring load as he finally scored in game 3. So should be just an interesting thing to kind of monitor as De'Aaron's health is wavering at the moment, but doesn't seem anything too major, which is the important thing. Number 2 thing that our guy Hunter Patterson points out is Kevin's DPOG chain finds stride right on cue. Did you know about the defensive player of the game chain before this season? Yeah, it's
no.
I had forgotten about it.
Okay.
It was a massive part of last year. After every single win, they pass out this chain, and Kevin Huerter. A lot more times than not, it's not actually defensive player of the game
It's
chain.
just who balled.
It's who had it's more of a player of the game chain.
I remember
that they try and
seeing a
frame it that way.
chain. But there's so many
Yes, of course,
and planes
turnover
and
chains
and chairs
Yeah.
that I can't keep up. Okay, well, I got it now. Yeah.
So shout out Kevon, who got. I think the biggest thing Kevin Huerter did yesterday was get 2 massive rebounds in overtime. So that was great to see. And as we have to head to break, I'll just run through these last 2. Murray's bond with Mike Brown continues to grow. He talks about that clip we played earlier, where Mike Brown and Keegan Murray had that fun moment and didn't end up subbing Keegan Murray out. And the last and final takeaway that Hunter has from this weekend, again, this is from The Athletic, Vezenkov's learning curve through 3 games.
Yes.
And just essentially talking about how Sasha, on the defensive end, obviously has some things that he needs to work out, but it hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been a complete liability. He's not getting turnstyled every single time he's on the perimeter. He's done a good job of keeping guys in front of him. And then, of course, the offense as well. In his first 3 games, you can't expect the dude to go out there and average 25 points per game, but just being able to contribute in the limited minutes he's had, 8 points in the first game, 10 points in the second, and then 11 in the third. You love to see him hitting down triples, and also his cutting ability, I think, has been very, very well sold, I guess, if that's the right way of saying it.
Yeah. All right. Break time. That was from The Athletic. Their 4 takeaways, but we want to know what your 4 takeaways were from this weekend with the Kings. 916-339-1140. And Chris and I will give ours as well. 1245. Beaming or dreaming. Don't miss it. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your work week starts out with mostly sunny skies. Today's a mild day with less wind to go around. Expect daytime highs in the lower 70s, overnight lows in the low 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Winter's coming, so let's kick off the cold season right and get your heater all tuned up. Now just $79. No matter how cold it gets outside, you'll always be warm and toasty inside. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple: to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a low-ball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at revivemenshealth.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. Third official show. First Monday show, right? We came in on Thursday. And actually, even when we were going through this whole process and I was doing shows and we were getting all the paperwork figured out and all those things, I don't think I ever did a Monday show. I think I did.
No,
Monday,
you did
I did
Tuesday
Tuesday,
one,
Wednesday,
yeah.
then Thursday,
So
Friday.
you did the day after media day, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
so that
That's
was a
right. So
Tuesday.
first Monday show.
Wow.
Happy Monday to you.
Yeah, happy Monday.
First Monday.
There's no case of the Mondays here. I'll tell you that much.
Sure.
Huh?
I've got some Mondays, but it's fine. It's more getting up on Mondays. Is
Okay.
the toughest
I
thing.
was dragging it.
Yeah. It's just like,
Yeah.
do I have to?
Worst day of the week, right?
You know what? I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
Because it's not my worst day of the week. And I don't even think it's particularly close.
Alan feels like Tuesday is the worst day of the week.
Tuesday is the worst day of the
There
week.
you go.
It's the worst. Monday, you're spending half your day talking to people about what you did over the weekend.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then during football
Dragging
season,
your feet. in
yeah,
general.
everybody's dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During football season, you still got one more game.
Sure.
Okay. Wednesday, you're halfway through the week. It's hump day.
Sure.
Right.
Thursday is obviously
Almost
Friday
there.
Eve,
Yep.
right? And Friday is Friday. Tuesday, what are we gonna do with Tuesday?
Work, I guess. Yeah. That's a really good point. It's
Eat
just
some
kind
tacos.
of just
All
kind
right,
of
cool. I eat tacos every day.
It's kind of the day you just kind of put your head down and you just
Yeah.
try and get through.
There's nothing to look forward to on
Yeah.
A lot of good trivia on Tuesdays. That's all I can.
Good point.
I can dig up
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
You're
A
into
waste.
trivia?
Trivias,
Yeah,
trivias
I am.
and tacos.
Are you good?
Love trivia.
Are you good?
You know, I don't cheat, and I feel
So
like
no.
I don't make the, I don't get on the
Every
podium.
time you lose, you just assume that
Yes.
She's like, everyone's cheating.
Yes,
There's no way
There's
they're
so
that
many,
smart.
so many trivias that are utilizing like your phones, and I just don't trust people. So yeah.
Well, it depends, right? If it's for a legit prize, then sure. But
Right.
if you're cheating and it's just for some gummy bears or something like that, you got issues.
Yeah.
You got issues. So you're playing like high stakes trivia.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually,
like, get a
it's
gift
like,
card or
yeah,
something
exactly.
to said
Merchandise
place.
to the
Right.
place that I'm already, going to. So for people, it's like, okay, this is going to buy a round of drinks or like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
my chicken wings, my boneless barbecue chicken wings.
Yeah. Oh
Tenders.
no.
What a
no,
callback.
no.
What a
Yeah,
callback.
Yeah, that is
So no,
all right.
but yeah, I love trivia.
I could see that. I don't know how good, but
Yeah.
I could see that.
I don't
You know
think
what
I
they
would.
need for when you do the trivia?
Yeah.
You ever go to one of those high? I think I say Chris Rock when they lock your phones.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's time for
Yes.
trivia.
That's what I was thinking. I'm
Lock
surprised
them
they
bad
don't.
boys up.
But
It
that's
should
how
be.
you answer the questions. It's all done digitally.
Oh,
which
really?
seems-
I did one like last week.
Yes.
It's still paper out there.
No,
No,
this
that's
one was
wild.
they do have different formats. So like, there's a video,
wild.
there's different,
Nah.
like plug and play.
Nah.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I don't trust
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, I hope people are have some integrity.
Yeah, to me, trivia
All
is like bingo, where it's just like, just keep it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Like, we don't need it to be digital or
No.
virtual. Like, we can just have the piece of paper and
Yeah.
write your answers.
Yep. Let me get a pen.
Yep.
Let me get a pen.
Doesn't need to be any more difficult.
Takeaways from the weekend
Yep.
with the Kings. Warriors game. I don't want to say just throw it out because it happened, but the Warriors game means a lot less to me now
Right.
that the Kings didn't let it snowball and lose to the Lakers.
Mhm.
When it got dicey, right? And we were very excited. I was very excited. Baby's first beam. I got to see my first
Hey.
beam, and it was all fine and good, but
I thought you meant your baby.
no. You never heard that? Like baby's first something, but
Yeah,
it's
of
just
course.
Yeah,
Hey,
for sure.
Simone knows. No, but not the baby.
I just assumed when you said baby's first
No, she's
beam,
not
I was
here
like,
yet.
okay, yeah, that's so sweet. Your
I won't-
family got to see the beam for the first time.
No.
Me.
No, me. I'm the baby. I'm not the baby, but I'm the baby
Yeah,
in this
gotcha.
situation. But I will bring her so she can get her first.
There you go. Yeah.
So we almost didn't get to that beam because it got a little dicey.
Mhm.
And this offense, it's not really turnovers, it's just missed shots,
Yeah.
right? And it's just bad decisions.
Mhm.
Bad decisions
At
and
bad times. Yeah.
at bad times. And Malik Monk and JaVale McGee, it can be really good
Mhm.
and then it can be not so good.
Yep.
Most of the time it is good.
Yeah.
But it's almost
like you have to deal with the bad to get the good.
yes,
you know?
it's all going to be a part of it. And you had that going. Keegan with a kind of a quiet game
Yeah.
as well.
Strange game. Yeah.
He had some shots later in the game, I believe, once De'Aaron went out, but a fairly quiet game for Keegan. Sabonis fouls out. That's something that has to stop happening.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you're just
they need him.
Because what happens when he
to have him?
What
out there.
happens when he fouls out?
We saw last night. I mean, they threw Sasha Vezenkov in there at center.
Yeah.
They closed the game with HB and Keegan at center, and then in overtime they went to JaVale. But even that, I don't think they really wanted to do.
They don't have a choice, and so Alex Len just can't.
Same story as last year, I guess, where it's just Alex will. Whenever they feel like, whenever Mike Brown feels like he's exhausted all of his options, he'll go to Alex Len. But I'm shocked that we didn't, especially see him on a night like last night when Sabonis fouls out and the Lakers are having their way on the rebounding front. I would have guessed that last night would have been a great time to throw Alex Len in there. I don't know. I feel like my big thing with this team, my big takeaway is, much like we were kind of talking about the Niners and how we were the Niners thought that they would kind of elevate above all the mess and they would be immune to all this losing essentially.
Right.
I think what I learned from this weekend is the Kings, I was hoping entering this season that the Kings would take advantage of the continuity and take advantage of the fact that not a lot is new, and they were playing the Warriors where a lot was new, and the Lakers where, they had to figure out, I think they're still figuring out, where their minutes should properly be dispersed. I think what I learned is that the Kings are more so in that pack, where I think the general consensus was the Kings are in that pack. A lot of people kind of had them at the bottom of that pack, where it is like the Lakers, the Clippers, mainly everybody in the Pacific Division. I just feel like the Kings are actually in that pack, which is fine. It's good that Memphis is 0-3 right now. They're about where I expected them to be without Ja, but I kind of was hoping that the Kings would be able to elevate above this, and they're 2-1. It's not like I mean, I'm drawing any crazy conclusions, but it's just kind of clear to me that the Kings are not more prepared or more so know who they are more so than any of these other teams that have questions.
Yeah, it's still an extremely small sample size and still another opportunity. I mean, if the Kings, and I think they're going to have something for the Warriors, unfortunately.
I think so too on Wednesday.
More than likely no
De'Aaron
Fox, but I mean, Malik Monk did not play that well against the Warriors on Friday during the playoffs. He was cooking.
Yeah, and he's got ultimate green light if De'Aaron's not playing.
He's got ultimate green light, and his shiftiness is something that I don't know that the Warriors are going to be able to handle in large spurts. I know he is number one in the pick and roll. That is Malik Monk, but don't fall in love with it because I don't know how much you're going. I know the Warriors are undersized, but also you can get by them too. So don't settle for it. Don't force anything.
Right.
Assuming we're just, and this is not even to say that Malik is going to start. That's also just about the amount of minutes that we think.
I would imagine he's going to get 35 or so minutes.
Yeah,
if I had to guess. I mean, that's, I think last night he ended up with something near last night he only played 24 minutes, which is actually really crazy. But I would De'Aaron played 34. Herter played 36. Harrison played 38. I would imagine Malik will probably be in that range if De'Aaron's not going to be able to go.
Yeah, and it's another situation again. Harrison better yet last night than he was on Friday, just in terms of aggressiveness and making his presence felt.
Yeah,
but if De'Aaron's out, we don't know for how long. Yep, we're gonna need everybody, hands on deck.
Everybody's got to step up,
and I think obviously it'll be a lot of Keegan Murray. And obviously a lot of Sabonis, and we talked about Malik Monk, but Harrison is still that kind of change of pace guy that I think the Kings could use as well to get going. So we'll see what happens there. All right, get into a break. When we get back, our thoughts on the opponents of the Kings, the Warriors, and the Lakers. And we have some sound from Malik Monk that talks about their lineup decision. That and more when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. Then again, next year, you get the latest iPhone. Every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
The glory and the greatness are only a few days away. The 40th running of the Breeders' Cup World Championships at Santa Anita is finally here. The ultimate racing showdown that every owner, trainer, and jockey around the globe has in their sights. With $31 million in purses and awards, there's a lot at stake, but only the best will claim the coveted title of World Champion. Coverage begins Friday, November 3rd on USA and continues Saturday, November 4th on USA and NBC. Visit BreedersCup.com to learn more.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Monday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their 3rd straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. And the things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The Red and Gold now dropped to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome back in to more Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. Kings, Niners, all that good stuff. as we get you through this Monday, which is for me ranked second worst day of the week. You know what else is kind of rough? I would say this is a little bit more niche, but I would also say Sunday after about 7 o'clock.
Yes. I knew you were gonna put that down, and I'm picking it up.
The Sunday scaries is real.
Yes.
I would say, like it's
such a bummer.
Yeah. Like that 12 to 15 hour span from like 7 till really like 10.
Whenever you go to
Monday.
bed. Yeah.
It's rough. I can't it's the Sunday night, Monday morning that if I could just eliminate it from the week, I feel like it wouldn't hurt so bad. It's that Sunday scary period and the Monday realization period.
Yes.
Can do without it.
And
it hurts.
And the Kings gave the Lakers some Sunday scaries.
Oh, yeah.
As they're able to take care of the King in a great game overtime while missing their 2 all-stars, all NBA players.
Right.
And you talk about depth. How many other teams could beat LeBron, AD, and the crew without not just their 2 best players? Because if it's a team that's not good, then your 2 best players aren't very good. But 2 guys that are top 20 players in the league in De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, and you're able to get it done.
They didn't score at all in the overtime. I'm looking at it right now. De'Aaron Fox did not put up a single point, and Domantas Sabonis did not put up a single point in that overtime period. And you're right. Like the fact that Malik was able to step up, he hit 11 in that in that overtime period. Kevin Huerter was able to knock down that 3, and even Keegan's look that was at the end of regulation, I thought was a really, really good look that I'm willing to live with 10 out of 10.
Erupted.
It would have been nuts. There wouldn't have been a beam to go off because the roof would have separated from the building, and there wouldn't have been a beam up there.
We all would have just
I think we all would. It would have been like this is the end for those who have seen it, when like everyone's like getting raptured into whatever the heavens.
Yeah,
it would have been the same with just an entire Golden One Center. Every Kings fan would have just levitated up into the sky.
And Keegan was asked about that look. He said he looked good. He said he thought it felt good, but was just happy that they were able to get the W. Manny Too Legit on the YouTube chat. And shout out to the YouTube chat.
They're going.
Holding us down.
Yes, sir. We appreciate
all day.
it.
So however you're listening, whether you're in the car, whether you're at home chilling, thank you for tuning in. Stiles and Watkins' 3rd official show. Manny Too Legit chiming in, talking about the JaVale dunk. But the question is, was it on LeBron or the business decision for LeBron to get out of the way? LeBron did a run by.
Yes.
Because he did not want to get dunked on.
No. It was a great move by JaVale, by the way, because I think it was end of the first quarter. It was either end of the first quarter or end of half. And everyone there was like 5 seconds left on the inbound. Everyone was expecting JaVale to get the inbound, do a nice little dribble handoff to De'Aaron, and then De'Aaron take it the rest of the way.
Right.
JaVale, knowing that everyone knows that, does the counter, fakes it to De'Aaron, has a wide open lane, and you just see the seas part. And LeBron made the ultimate business decision. I don't think it counts as being dunked on because he intentionally just kind of slides on through there like like somebody in the, old Temptations days or something with a nice little slide.
David Ruffin or somebody.
And just made sure to get out of there. But JaVale caught him, if shout out any cameramen who are sitting courtside, you could probably get a couple flicks of JaVale with LeBron in frame.
Yeah. Or maybe a photo might be better because it's frozen when he's right across from each other. But that's just classic LeBron.
Yeah.
I gave an effort, but it was not a real effort.
No.
It wasn't. That was my first time getting to see LeBron in real time live, and
better late than never. But,
never
late is also better.
But also, I did get to see that dunk. It was a fast break when JaVale. That must have been in the 4th, right?
Can we not talk about JaVale's Vlade tip, please?
And it almost looked like he didn't know that it was
what
LeBron.
He was doing,
or he did also used to play with LeBron, because that was the best outlet pass I think the Lakers had all game.
It was incredible. It was a great outlet pass right to LeBron James. And I can't stand the fact that, if the Kings would have lost that game, that play would have just been the most ironic in the worst way possible, with like JaVale tipping it against the Lakers. You quite literally have Vlade Divac sitting courtside, the infamous Vlade tip that guy on the Lakers. We don't say his name here. It was it was not great from JaVale in that moment, but it was a cool moment for LeBron for sure. I'm glad that shout out Frankie Cardicelli, who called it as LeBron was in the air. He was like, he did the same dunk that he did in game 1. And it was, I don't know if you saw the picture, but it was a really, really cool side-by-side picture of LeBron game 1 of his career. And then in year 21, same day, 20 years later.
Yeah. Well, they're going to tell us about it.
I don't know if you got, I don't know. You were actually in the press conferences after the game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got brought up.
LeBron popped up into the press conference because we were waiting for Coach Mike to show up. And LeBron just popped in and was like, oh, yeah, can't stand this guy? Me neither. And then just closes the door. And someone said, was that LeBron? And that was it. That was it. We don't know. I think he was talking about Coach Mike Brown. I don't really know. I have no clue. So, yeah, that was nice to see. And it was also nice to see the Kings and kind of what they had going. But you mentioned it earlier about the different lineups and going smaller. And Malik Monk was asked about that. And he had some things to say. And you know how Malik Monk is. He's a very passionate guy.
Oh, yeah.
So let's hear from him.
You know, Malik, Domas fouled out there late in the fourth quarter, and Mike Brown went with an incredibly small lineup against a very tall team. Can you talk a little bit about kind of how you guys approached that from a rebounding standpoint and how that small ball actually played to an advantage for you going down the stretch?
Oh, yeah. We was able to get AD away from the rim. And he's a big old presence down there. So when he's away from the rim, it's easy to attack and just make plays. But Mike going with the small ball unit, it just shows that he trusts us a lot and that we got a lot of dogs out there.
Malik hit a big three as an answer to one of the threes that the Lakers hit. I think it was the LeBron three. What was the thought process on that shot that you made? Because it was a pivotal one in the final outcome.
To hit it and yell at AD face. Nah, man. Right in his face. Right in his face.
How sweet is this for you to be able to pull off a win like this against your former team?
Oh, yeah, man. It's good, especially with AD, man. He talks a lot. Brian, those my vets, man. They taught me a lot when I was over there, but it's always good to beat them.
Malik, I keep telling people, Malik means king in Arabic.
Yes, sir. Every time. Appreciate it.
Congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's just good stuff.
I love that. Malik's the best. Malik is the absolute best quote. It's incredible.
Gotta be.
I love he said that before, but like he loves to say, like, we got some dogs in this locker room. Simone, yes. I love that so much. I also do really love him and AD's like fake beef that they got going on. I can't remember what AD said something hilarious about Malik towards the end of last year, and it was so funny. But those two's relationship is awesome.
Yeah.
Love to hear that. So hopefully one day Malik can recruit AD to come over to Sac.
You sure you want that?
No.
I know.
Definitely not.
I know Carmichael David, Jason Ross were talking about some trades and Ben Simmons and Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
You don't need it right now.
No.
You don't need it right now.
No. The Kings are chilling right
now. You're rolling, and we're rolling. Got to get to a break, though. And when we get back, it is time. I see Simone on the phone lines right now because that's right. It's 12:45. We made you wait long enough. Our second installment, or beaming or dreaming.
Yep.
Are you beaming or dreaming? One more time. If you're beaming, you think this team can go further than they did last season. If you're dreaming, that means you're just dreaming about it happening. It ain't going to happen. Are you beaming or dreaming? Line up the calls, line up the texts. Let us know. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner.
Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
I wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Cooler temperatures mean it's time to reduce your outdoor water use. Water 1 day per week on Saturday or Sunday from November 1st through February 29th. Learn more about your home's watering schedule at sacwaterwise.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We're back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m., 12:45. So you know what that means. It's time for beaming or dreaming. Now, last week when we premiered this segment, I was beaming, you were beaming. Kyle, who was our producer, was dreaming. Text line and the call line and the YouTube chat, most of them were also beaming, but you do lose to the Warriors. You get the Lakers, but De'Aaron goes down, and we have some things that Kevin Huerter had to say about that injury history and that narrative about the Kings getting quote unquote lucky based on injuries last year. But let's get to it. I see some of you right now. I'm going to start with my guy across from me, Chris Watkins.
Hi. How you doing?
On this beautiful Monday.
Yeah. Glorious.
Are you beaming or are you dreaming?
I think at this moment in time,
I don't like that tone.
Oh no, Simone, I hear music in the back.
I'm dreaming music.
Oh.
Simone read my mind because even though I was beaming last time we did this, I am dreaming, unfortunately, right now.
Why?
At this moment in time. It's going to fluctuate. I'm going to go back and forth. It's just, I mean, it's like I said earlier, I kind of had this expectation that the Kings were going to be at a different level than everybody else at this moment in time. And this is not something, I'm not putting my stamp on it, but if you're asking me how I feel right now, man, this is a banger. This is a banger of a song. I mean, I think the loss to the Warriors was, I think the Kings will probably look better on Wednesday, but the fact that they weren't able to kind of narrative-wise take that opportunity and run with it, obviously so much energy in that game. It was the home opener. You're playing a team that you're incredibly familiar with. You want to make a statement. And just the fact that they weren't able to kind of take advantage of all of those things working in their favor emotionally and translate it onto the court and miss as many shots as they missed and look at times as bad as they looked. It was just disappointing. And I don't want this to, even though this segment is meant to be a bigger picture feeling, it's more of my right here, right now feeling. And yes, the win against the Lakers was good, but it also definitely had some downs in it, as well as the Kings just, again, didn't look like they were on a different level than the Lakers.
Wow.
So I'm dreaming.
There you go. Get some auto-tune on that. You'll
Yeah.
be good to go.
Oh, it'll be fire.
The YouTube chat, Amid Rock is beaming.
Good.
Andrew Cardwell, last year's record through 3 games, 0-3.
That's a great point.
Beaming is the only answer.
I think that's the comment of the day.
Yeah.
0-3 through this point last year.
Simone?
I was going to say I should actually omit from this category because I wasn't here or listened to the first one, but I think I get the gist of it.
Yeah.
I mean, are we kind of concerned about the ankle, about missing our...
It's definitely
A
something
point?
where it's like, you
Can
know,
we be beaming?
it's a little Joe Burrow-esque where it's like, I'd rather this not happen literally in the beginning of the season. It's kind of one of those things. I don't know if it ever actually gets better until you just let it heal. And it doesn't seem like they're going to sit De'Aaron for like 3 weeks to let it properly heal. So
Yeah.
I hear you on that, Simone, for sure.
So are you catching Z's? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. We're dreaming right now.
I think right now.
We're dreaming.
People.
It fluctuates. It can go back. We're going to do this segment a lot.
Just wake up, you know?
You just
Inception.
JaVale just yammed on the King. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? All right, so we got 2 dreaming. The chat, we got 2 beaming. Here's my answer.
Okay.
I'm beaming, but we're going to do this after they play the Warriors. And if they lose to the Warriors again, it'll be tough because there's no De'Aaron, so I don't know how fair that is. But if they lose to the Warriors again, we might have some issues.
Yeah.
Especially if they get handled.
Yeah. Because at that point, you have to wonder, is there something about this Warriors team that this team just can't get over? And frankly, there's really nothing besides 30. There's nothing really special about that Warrior team that should be insurmountable. And so, if they can't figure it out, if they continue to look rough on the offensive end against Golden State on Wednesday, it starts to raise some questions. I think, by the way, like we're in this to be critical, to, pick things apart. I have no problem with all the fans being beaming. Like, I think fans should still feel positive. Again, like that comment said, they were 0-3 at this point last year. We saw how last year turned out. There's no reason to freak out about anything, but there's just some things that have happened along this way so far that are concerning. Just a little concerned.
Yeah, I would say
it's not end all be all.
No, well,
they don't look like a different team than what we all expected, but it's just, definitely don't, like the Denver Nuggets right now, if I'm not mistaken, they're also 3-0 and have the largest point differential in the NBA. I think they're beating teams by an average of like 18 points per game. That's a bit much. The Nuggets are 3-0, point differential plus 16.3. That's of course absurd.
Yeah.
But I would have liked the Kings to kind of be, +8. Plus, and they've had some tough opponents, but I just would have liked them to see them kind of handle victories a little bit easier so far.
Well, I think that
very early.
The offense so far hasn't necessarily looked like it did last season.
And that's another thing. Right?
But I'd also say that the defense looks a
good point.
A little bit better.
If I'm not mistaken,
I looked
at the advanced numbers, and the Kings are 18th right now in defensive rating, which is not 24th.
That's where you need to be. Now, here's the problem. If your defense gets a little bit better, but
the offense
isn't where it was last season, that could be tough. But, it's still early. I think Vezenkov, as we've said, that was one of the takeaways in the Athletic piece. He's really been a little bit of a surprise. I mean, a good surprise.
Yeah.
And I defensively, he's getting after it.
Good surprise.
That is the effort that we talk about when you say, okay, some people are kind of built better to play defense, but can you just give an effort?
Yeah.
And I think that is part of this as well. He feels to me like he is at least putting forth as much effort as he can.
Definitely. And you can see it, like he's a step slow for sure. He definitely isn't blessed with natural athleticism. He's trying his darndest. And that's really, it's a similar story with Sabonis. Like Sabonis is not the most athletically gifted guy out there, but he gives his 100% on defense, and you just got to live with it. Like it's not terrible. It's definitely not, he's not Dikembe Mutombo back there, but he's trying his hardest, and for the most part, he's not just getting blown by, and he's not, seeing guys blow by him and just standing there with his hands in the air. Like he's gonna always try and stay into the play, and that's really all you can ask for. Because, again, if a guy's just going to be physically limited,
Right.
you can't get mad at him because he's slow.
Well, yeah, and if he's still doing things offensively, we're in a good spot. YouTube chat, PGA Pat, he's beaming, so you love to hear that as well. And, I think it would have to be a pretty bad stretch for this to go in a different direction, especially for the fans and what we've seen. There's no reason not to be. I mean, you've played the teams with, let's not forget, what were the Kings based on the odds? What did they land at? 15th best odds?
Yeah.
In terms of, to win the finals,
So
I think it was 15.
So the Warriors, they're up there. The Lakers, they're up there. So you've besides the Jazz, you played two legit teams.
For sure.
You were in it for the most part with both of them. So you got to be happy about that. Yeah. All right, get into a break. When we get back, we're breaking down Brock Purdy. And I don't mean we'll be nice, but not too nice.
Yeah.
Because enough people are too nice.
Because he hasn't been very nice.
Exactly.
He hasn't been nice.
Exactly. Not to Niners fans.
Yeah.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Model year end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey guys, do you know what makes Revive Men's Health Sacramento different? You. Every Revive treatment and medication is personalized just for you. Revive has the experts that guys go to when their current treatment isn't working. They have a complicated medical condition, or they're just not happy with their daily performance. Since 2011, they've helped thousands of local men suffering with the symptoms of low T and ED. Their goal is simple: to get to the bottom of your issues and fix them. Your best performance requires more than generic ED medications or a low-dose testosterone booster at a lowball price like you find online. Revive medications are custom compounded, affordable, and guaranteed to resolve your issues. Stop dealing with the symptoms of low T or ED. Book your free T-check and exam and save $199 today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit us at revivemenshealth.com.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com. What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Happy Monday, I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their third straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. And the things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The red and gold now drop to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I am Simone. Those are your headlines. A warm reminder that all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Let's get into the last hour of Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
3 hours down, 1 to go. Stiles and Watkins taking up to 2 p.m. Last segment of the show, we'll have the cross talk with the drive guys, Whitey and Draper, as we talk Kings, talk Niners, talk Brock Purdy. Halloween tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
We'll get we got some special things planned. Chris just came up with an outstanding segment that we are going to be very happy to do and very excited to do. We'll talk top candies, okay? Your favorite candy, because you have to.
Yeah.
I also want to hear worst candies.
Worst candies, yeah.
Because, there's some candy when you're a kid and they put that in the bag. And honestly, it's just, you can keep. What if you just said, I'm just 7 years old, dude, just keep it.
Just keep it.
I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want that, all right? So that's all coming up
Twizzlers.
tomorrow. Well, whoa. See, now you're going hot take here. I'll go Twizzlers over Red Vine.
What?
Let's not do
now
this.
you're crazy.
Tomorrow,
because
You started it.
I'm gonna cut you up.
That's on me.
So are either of you are coming in dressed up?
I'm definitely gonna dress up for you guys.
That is not surprising. I haven't decided.
Am I so transparent?
Actually,
I'm trying to think.
I do have to say something because I went to a Halloween party this past weekend. And I thought it was really clever what I did. And I'm going to tell you what I did and tell you how it went. Right. So Tim Anderson is one of my favorite players. Right. One of my favorite players. I like his story. He went to a JUCO. You know what I mean? He got it from the gutter. He's had a rough go this past season.
Yeah.
So I have a Tim Anderson jersey. I have a Tim Anderson jersey. So I didn't know I was going to this party. And my buddy's like, yeah, you can roll. We just, you know what I mean? You need a costume, right? And he's like, I got a Mario costume. I'm like, okay. And he's a super vert. He's like 6'4". I'm like, I don't really know if this is going to work for me, but I'm okay. Let me see what I can do. So I got my Temple practice baseball pants that I don't think I've washed since the last game in 2013.
Yeah. Baseball pants are terrible, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're well aware.
I had them
They're
on
just
with
so
Jordans and it was a
uncomfortable.
rough look.
Yeah.
They're like, take a picture. I'm like, I don't want to, right? So I have that. I have the Tim Anderson jersey on.
Okay.
And what do? I go over to Walgreens and my buddy, we work together. He's in sports too, super. So I'm figuring his friends are going to get this.
Right.
Like, it's going to be clever, low effort, but very clever. So I have on the Tim Anderson jersey. I go to Walgreens. I go get eyeshadow. I call my little sister. I said, hey, I'm trying to look for a black eye. She's like, get a little bit of purple, get a little bit of red, get a little bit of black, and you'll look solid. I did it. I look legit. I walk in. No one got it.
Really?
No one. I had to explain it to them.
I was like, maybe it would have been better as a
they're like baseball players.
Duo costume.
Which is like the most basic costume to like baseball player. Dope. I'm like, no.
And they're like,
watch
what
the video.
What happened to your face?
Yeah, no, literally my buddy was like, dude, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I just thought maybe your new job had been a little bit rough. You know what I mean? I'm
Well,
like,
we haven't been getting along.
Yeah,
very well,
like me and my co-host, it's not a good thing. I thought it was very clever. So then at one point, my buddy, because it's all of his friends, he's walking around the party showing people the YouTube of Tim Anderson. Then they're like, I get it.
It's always great when you have to explain the joke, right?
It was read the room, dude. You know, and I've had some. Tomorrow we'll talk more about some past costumes because I get down. Yeah, and I wasn't extremely happy with this
That's
one.
really solid for like last minute. That's like really solid.
Last minute. The only other thing I had was my Jerry curled wig that I didn't feel like whipping out.
Yeah, you
right?
could have been like Dion or something.
I have done that before. So, but again, you got to show them the picture.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? So yeah, that I just had to let you know that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell Chris that I really thought that this was gonna bang.
Yeah.
And
well, I would have thought,
pop.
like, I mean, yeah, you kind of.
They all played. One of the guys played baseball.
Yeah,
very,
that's
very much new baseball. I don't know. I did have on the City Connect jersey, so it just says Southside, but I don't.
That's even better.
It's a White Sox jersey. I have a black eye.
It was very clear and obvious.
A black eye. Yeah. I was really let down on that one.
Yeah, that's probably just like that's not on you. That's on the crowd.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's not on you. That's a solid.
Your references are out of control. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows that. That's crazy.
I appreciate that because that's not how it felt. And to preview a little bit of what we're going to be doing tomorrow, but not give you too much, we're going to talk about Brock Purdy and is he? I guess you're not a contender as a player, but is he a pretender or not? Has the clock striked midnight for Cinderella Purdy?
Is Linsanity over?
It lasted a decent amount of time.
It was fun.
It was fun while it lasted. Is it over now? Your thoughts, Chris Watkins?
I think in terms of like the sensation that is Brock Purdy might be over. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to I don't know if Brock Purdy's ever going to be at the forefront of conversation in the same way. Like, I don't know if Brock Purdy's ever going to be realistically in the MVP conversations like he was a few weeks back. It feels like now we can actually start to form a real and honest opinion about where this guy is at in the NFL, which I think you and I have been very clear and, you know, it's somewhere in the middle of the NFL. I think that's kind of where we're all at now is that he's clearly not. I think those MVP conversations are done. I don't think anyone's ever going to have is he a top 5 or 8 quarterback in the NFL? I don't know if that's ever going to be part of the Brock Purdy discussion, but I think now it's more just trying to actually figure out, much like it was with Jeremy Lin, truly like, okay, he was not this he was not a franchise player here. Where actually is he when you're talking about week to week, what you can expect from this guy? And I don't think it's this, but I also definitely don't think that it's necessarily always going to be the guy that we saw for the first 5 weeks. It's easy. It's a cop out, but I think it is truly somewhere in the middle where Brock is capable of on any given week putting up 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think it's really just going to be how often does he really turn the ball over, because we went from him not turning the ball over at all to now it's like 3 turnovers a game. And it feels like where is he going to settle on that end of things is going to be the most important for how good he actually is going to be.
Well, we already talked about Trey Lance on this fine program, so let's just keep digging him up. This guy who I don't believe is playing tonight, which is one of the reasons that they moved off from him. I'm seeing Jimmy G comparisons.
Yeah.
A lot of Jimmy G fair. I don't think it's fair. I think I would take Brock over Jimmy G.
Feels safer than Jimmy.
Yes, I would take
Jimmy
Brock over
was
Jimmy.
A safe guy, but
every day.
Yeah. Brock just feels like he makes better decisions and like it just feels like you're in better hands.
He's mobile.
The mobility definitely helps. He just also seems like he's going to get it better. Like he seems like he's going to actually learn from mistakes. And I think a big part of Brock has thrown a lot of interceptions in like training camps and things like that before. There was a lot of talk, especially in this training camp, how many interceptions he was throwing during it. And I think we're starting to see that guy appear more in game. And I think I'm going to say the same thing that people were saying when he was throwing those turnovers in practice. And I think it's a part of it is good because it's him learning what he can and can't do. I would much rather at this point in the season, right here, right now, not later in the season, I'd much rather have him trying to kind of test the waters a little bit and see how far he can take his skills now and then settle later in the year than, him start to feel himself late in the year and start to turn the ball over then. So I think the big hope for me as someone who believes that Brock Purdy is a good, not excellent quarterback is that he's going to actually learn from these mistakes. But the tough thing is he's got to go through these mistakes right now.
Yeah, and you hope that you can have these mistakes and still win ball games.
Yes,
and
that's also true, right?
That has not been the case, and which now begs the question, which we never thought that I didn't think we'd have to have it, especially when you move off a Trey. But at the same time, guys like Dan Orlovsky said with a straight face at the beginning of the season that he believed that Sam Darnold could take this team to the next level. That's just his opinion, right? And he's
it's a
also
wrong one, but yeah,
he can have it, right? He's the same guy that thought Mac Jones would look the same in this offense with these weapons. So that begs the question now. Now we're having leash discussions, and how long is Brock Purdy's leash before Kyle Shanahan thinks, do I have to think about it? They moved off Trey, so they wouldn't have to have these conversations. But I do think that if Brock hasn't played poorly, it's just a couple. That's where the Jimmy G stuff comes in.
Yes.
Because you've been playing well, then it's just one back-breaking thing that then just negates all the good that you've done. So when is that conversation going to happen? Obviously, a lot of other things need to go right for the Niners. But if Brock throws 2 interceptions after the bye week, so the concussion thing is all
cleared
straight,
away,
he's fine. If he throws 2 interceptions again, I don't want to say 1 because you never know what could happen.
Right.
2, and they are at bad times again, Kyle Shanahan is going to no longer be able to avoid the same conversations that he was hoping to avoid when he moved off of Trey Lance.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say Brock continuing to turn the ball over is definitely going to spark the conversation. In terms of making the actual move, to me, that's like a desperation thing. Like, I think at this point, their feet are planted in the ground that Brock is their guy, and it would take almost a complete fall from great. Like, it would have to be a massive, massive coming back down to earth for Brock to be pulled. I just can't see that happening. I think it would take just games of no touchdowns, multiple interceptions, multiple turnovers, and him just, it would have to be a vibe thing where it just feels like he's going out there with no confidence. And I have a tough time seeing from everything we've heard about Brock as well. I don't know if he's ever really going to get to that point. Like, it might in terms of him turning the ball over, but in terms of him overall losing confidence, I don't think he's going to ever truly lose confidence in himself unless he's just absolutely terrible and just throwing interceptions all over the place.
Yeah.
Which would just be too big of an about face. Like it would be too big of, okay, but you were just this. And it's not like, again, it's not like a Jeremy Lin thing where Jeremy Lin was cosplaying as for like 3 weeks. Like, he wasn't being Patrick Mahomes for 3 weeks. He was just being a really solid, good quarterback.
Yeah.
It would be just too drastic to go from solid play to, oh my gosh, this guy can't throw the ball without turning it over.
Well, people were calling him mini Mahomes.
Yeah, and you know what? Someone just put it out in the chat. It's very true. Brock technically played a better game than Patrick Mahomes did like this week.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a part of this as well, is sometimes we think that those great quarterbacks like Josh Allen, like Jalen Hurts, like Lamar, like all those guys, they don't have bad games. It's just every week they're great. They're spectacular. That's not the case. Like
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is capable of throwing interceptions. Again, Josh Allen, week 1 threw 3 interceptions. Jalen Hurts had like almost an even touchdown to interception ratio heading into the week. Quarterbacks have really bad weeks. And sometimes, I think you said it perfectly, like the Niners need to do their part in bailing out Brock Purdy in this as well. It can't just be what happened to this. Isn't Brock Purdy doesn't win them these games. What happened to that? What happened to Brock Purdy is the talent around him is winning these games.
Yeah.
It can't be all Brock's fault when they're losing the games. And I know
Right.
people put the blame on the defense as well, but I think that it can't all be put on Brock's shoulders. Quarterbacks are allowed to have bad games.
That's a great point. And I will say the difference between the interceptions is because, well, first of all, Josh Allen, it's almost the game doesn't start until Josh Allen throws a pick, right? That's when the clock actually starts. But all these guys that you're talking about, they all do, according to people that know much more football than either of us, would say, yeah, but their ceilings and what they're capable of is much higher than Brock.
Absolutely.
So when you're Brock Purdy, I can't really afford for you to have picks and things like that.
Sure.
Because there's the boom or bust. We're not getting both of those things.
True.
Right.
Very true.
You can scurry around a little bit. You can do some things, but we're not getting the 60-yard bomb. We're not getting that. You're already working within the offense. So got to get to a break. When we get back, talking about the De'Aaron Fox injury and the update that we had to start the show pretty much, and who should start in his place. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I have terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Local, live, and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back. 45 more minutes. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. A lot is going on right now with the Kings because you feel good about beating the King, as he calls himself. What do you think about the crown celebration? You like that?
Yeah, I do actually like it. I think it's a
if Steph did it, you'd
cool celebration. Yeah, 1,000%. By the way, Steph Curry has played 3 basketball games this season and has already heavily celebrated 2 of them. He did the night on the Kings, and then last night did that scream face or the Home Alone face against the Rockets.
But he cooked him.
He did.
He cooked Dylan Brooks. I've never seen that. They're
He
gonna.
really did.
Are we past? Remember when people, you would make the dance moves when they did it with Rudy Gobert?
Oh, yeah.
And there was one hop this time, and they had. I hope they make one of those for Dylan Brooks because that was outstanding.
He was bad. He
Real
was
quick
turned around.
on the text line from the 916. We're still workshopping a lot of things. We're still working on our intro, all of that good stuff. So we love to get suggestions from you listeners. So thank you for this. 916. Dial up the beam wattage with Stiles and Watkins. He says himself or herself needs workshopping, but there's something there.
I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting in that pun.
You are.
I like it.
It
I mean,
would just-
I like it.
I think it
I've
would
got
ju-
no problem with it.
It would just be dial up the beam wattage. Yeah. Dial up. I don't know. Dial
We're
up the
workshopping.
beam wattage. Style up the
That's
beam
what
wattage.
I said back here.
Style up the beam wattage,
There you
and
go.
you're just done. Make the shirts.
Yeah.
There you go.
Make the shirts. Thank you, 916. Style up the beam wattage. Huh?
Yeah, it kind of does feel like a soup of word, like just a random collection of words.
If you
a little
don't
bit.
like it, just say
I
it.
don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love it.
Style up the beam wattage.
I feel like we're forcing it.
Real hating, man. That's like an art form.
I like it, 916.
I like the idea of it.
No.
I think you're towards something, but styling up the beam wattage doesn't make any sense. Really.
No one refers like, why don't you style up the lights?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah. Well, if you're interior,
exactly right. Yeah.
They're like, are you interior designers?
Yeah.
That looks great.
Hey,
That
can you
looks
style this
awesome.
up for us real quick? Can you style up that beam for me real
Style
quick?
it up real quick.
I don't
Caesar
know.
on the YouTube chat, Caesar916 is dreaming, going back to
Love that.
beaming or
They should be,
dreaming.
man.
So that is the first
Don't lose faith.
YouTube. Well, no, dreaming, not beaming.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
what
what
I'm
I
saying.
like to say is, or like to see is, people not losing faith. I
Not
love to
losing
see it.
faith. No.
Love to
Manny
see
too
it.
legit. Did you dress up as Childish Gambino Styles? No, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't.
how about Darrell Rivas?
That was on the YouTube
Whoa.
chat earlier.
Whoa.
These are all the classics. These are all the classics, you know. Childish Gambino, that'd be a tough. What am I going to walk around?
You could just wear like a Hawaiian.
this is
shirt,
America.
like
He
a
had no
button
shirt
up.
on.
That's a good point. Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Sometimes he kind of does go for that like homeless, like shaggy.
Can you imagine?
like-
Can you imagine if I did that at the Halloween party?
Yeah, people would have been like, "Oh, okay. Are you like?
Are you okay?
Yeah, like are you? Are you a drug addict? Like what are you?
Are you okay?
Are you
What if you
good?
just wore a lot of Atlanta stuff? How about that?
Yeah, that could work. I mean,
No.
Like the teams?
Yeah. I mean, to convey that you're childish.
I'm done with
Gambino.
sports stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Actually,
I'm done.
yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Are you a multi-sport athlete? What's going on?" I'm done. I'm done with sports costumes for a bit, but a lot of Halloween stuff, a lot of fun Halloween stuff planned for everybody tomorrow. So excited for that show. But it was a scary sight.
Yeah.
When De'Aaron Fox went down,
It
huh?
sure
That's a good
was.
one. And from where we were sitting, I didn't know what happened. I thought it
No
was his
clue.
back because he went down pretty hard and then went up against
Right, the stanchion or whatever.
the
yeah.
foam thing at the bottom of the basket. So I thought it was his back. He was down there for a long time.
Mhm.
Probably felt
Too
a lot
long.
longer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If you are a Kings fan. So we're glad that he did avoid serious injury, as was reported from Shams at the beginning of the show. So that was around 9:55, 10 a.m.
Yep.
And the question now is, how do the Kings kind of fight through? And if you were Coach Mike Brown, who would you start in his place?
I mean, I know we had the conversation about how Mike Brown seems to really love bringing Malik off the bench just because he's very comfortable in that role, but I would really consider it. I just think in general, he's been the Kings' main point guard, I guess you can call him this year. I mean, you look at the assist numbers heading into last night before they played. Malik was their leading assist guy. After last night, Malik is third on the team, still has over 5 assists per game. It feels to me like even if he's not quote unquote starting, he's going to be the primary facilitator with the ball in his hand. So I would guess Davion's going to start, and I would guess that they're probably going to start the game just with a lot of Sabonis having the ball in his hands a ton and just kind of having everything run through him like it kind of already does. And it'll just be interesting to see who kind of picks up the scoring load, or if Davion specifically can pick up the scoring load. Because,
Right.
yeah, I mentioned he didn't score in the first 2 games. He was all right last night. I think he knocked down a triple, if I'm not mistaken. And it was just good to see him get involved in the offense. And I know Mike Brown in the pregame yesterday said he doesn't really think about Davion's offense really at all because the defense is what he's on the floor to do. But clearly and obviously, if De'Aaron Fox isn't out on the floor, you're going to need somebody or multiple people probably to step up the scoring load, especially when De'Aaron's putting up 37 and 39 in games. Like you're going to miss that scoring punch. So can Davion get in double digits, I think is really the big thing to look at when De'Aaron's out.
Yeah, and look, we know it's kind of a positionless type deal, but I'm looking at honestly, and maybe I'm just going a little bit too early here with the Vezenkov situation. But
Sure.
when we're talking about scoring,
Yeah.
that's somebody that pops into my head, not going to handle the ball and not going to create for other people.
Sure.
And Chris Duarte, kind of a weird game for him.
Quiet.
14 minutes, 4 points that I don't necessarily
I don't
even
remember any of them. Yeah.
And 2 rebounds, still trying to find his way on this team. And again, not going to be the guy that would handle the ball like that. But
Right.
when you're more so just talking, not necessarily the point guard responsibilities and those duties, but also just where is the scoring going to come from?
Yep.
I mean, Chris Duarte, we know he's better defensively than Kevin Huerter, but if Kevin Huerter can continue to just work his tail off as he has been, and if the shot does come back, I think all of our Chris Duarte conversations may or may not have been a bit premature.
Yeah,
But, you know, it really just matters. Kevin Huerter, I mean, he played better, but we can't sit here and act like he set the world on fire.
No, yeah, he's not back.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't say that either.
He's no longer in the hole anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you're not looking at him at the bottom of the well being
Right.
like, can we get Kevin out of there,
Yeah, are
please?
you okay?
Yeah, he's at least above water now, and
Yeah.
he's able to breathe a little. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say that Kevin Huerter is in a place right here, right now, where I would say, yeah, like we need Kevin to step up to 20 points per game right now with De'Aaron out. I would love that to be the case if he were, shooting as well as he did to start the last season, but he's not. He's nowhere near that, and I think it would be unrealistic to expect that from him. So, frankly, I mean, if you're looking for anyone to step up the scoring load in a major way, I would like to see Keegan. Like we played that sound earlier of Mike Brown saying he wants Keegan to take any and every open shot. I would like to see Keegan really take another level in terms of his aggressiveness, looking for that shot. And also Domantas Sabonis, like I would love to see a 25-point performance from Domas with De'Aaron out, because just in general, he's going to have to be a lot more aggressive. He's going to have to be the Kings' best player if the Kings are going to survive without De'Aaron Fox, even if it only is for 3 games. Domas has to be the best player on the Kings.
Yeah.
Or most important, I
yes.
should say. Not necessarily best in terms of scoring, but
right.
For the most part, he's got to look clear and obvious, like the team is surrounding by him. Around him.
And we keep talking about him as well. A name that continues to come up, and that's HB. That's Harrison Barnes.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
he's a guy who he gets his opportunities. It's weird because I don't necessarily mind Harrison Barnes taking 3-pointers because he can definitely hit them.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But sometimes his shot selection, you know, he's almost as if he's, for lack of a better term, like that person that's shy.
Yes.
But then,
definitely.
but then at some random time, they decide they're going to blurt something out and like try to have a conversation, thinking, I didn't really, what? Like, I didn't even understand that. Sometimes Harrison will just randomly take a 3 at the top of the shot clock. And you're thinking, really? That's the one that you were feeling?
That's the one that you've been waiting for this whole time?
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll pass up open threes and then drive to the lane, which, I understand you got to diversify it a little bit, but it is, again, Mike Brown wants his guys taking the open look when they got it. So, I would love to see Harrison step it up. It's just, frankly, at this point, for how long we've had Harrison Barnes on this team, I just I don't mean it to sound rude if it comes off that way, but I know what to expect from him. And I just can't realistically bring myself to expect him to step up the scoring load just because the Kings have a clear and obvious need for it.
Right. And we're not asking you to drop the 33
no, he
that
doesn't
you
need
did,
to.
but you got to get up
17.
Yes, if we can get you to 17, we're in a good spot. 8 points with no De'Aaron, that's a rough go.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is. And I know he's guarding LeBron for a good portion of that game, and he's being asked to do things that a lot of guys aren't being asked to do, but Harrison is still he's still somebody who's again, my biggest problem with him is that he can do a little bit of everything, and too many times you end up with a whole lot of nothing. It's just he ends up just not really ever imprinting himself onto a game, and I would love to see it happen, but I can't bank that into what I expect to see from them.
Well, it actually would be a perfect opportunity to play. How many minutes did he play?
Yeah, it really would.
Unless you saw already.
I don't know. I have no idea how many minutes he played last night. I would say just because it was a double overtime or an overtime game, I would say he played 32 minutes, I guess.
He played 39 minutes.
Which had to be the most on the team.
It was the most on the team.
He played 39 minutes.
8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists.
Oh boy. I mean, yeah, it's like that's the problem more times than not. Is like, I mean, in that the fact that he's playing 40 minutes though, that does tell me he's not out there doing nothing. Like while the stats, you look at the box score and it might say, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. 1 foul isn't great. I would have liked to see him, especially on a night where everybody's fouling.
Just
I would have
get
liked,
in there.
get in there, take some fouls for some other guys and really be aggressive on the defensive end of things. But I mean, the fact that Mike Brown's playing him 40 minutes, I don't think Mike Brown would play him if he was literally doing nothing.
No,
but
that's a great call.
I think he should step up the aggressiveness.
And he's probably the best all-around defender on the team.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I would say obviously Davion in the lockdown for the guards, but the all-around defender. So you got to have him out there, and obviously just the leadership and keeping.
They don't have anyone else like him either.
No,
like, they don't have anyone who's as physical as he is, and has just been around the block as well. Like he's 30 years old, right in the middle of his prime.
Getting to a break. When we get back, we are talking about overhyped prospects and who fulfilled their potential and who didn't. Line yours up as well. Anybody that you thought was going to be that guy at any level or that person at any level, let us know. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Well, Monday Night Football gets 2 teams who need the extra day to prepare. Rough losses for Las Vegas and Chicago last week, and Detroit got worked by Baltimore. As for the Silver and Black, time to find something in the run game. Josh Jacobs now 7 straight games under 4 yards per carry, and it won't be easier this week as Detroit is number 6 against the run. That is your Silver and Black Report. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call, then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision crafted performance is at your fingertips.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 $1,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. Happy Monday. I'm Simone, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. The San Francisco 49ers were handed their third straight loss of the regular season Sunday after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-17.
We got to get better in every aspect. The things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
The red and gold now dropped to 5-3 on the season as the Seahawks ascend to the top of the NFC West. Last night, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk's late heroics helped Sacramento pull out a thrilling 132-127 overtime win over the Lakers.
A Kings win, and the beam will be lit for the first home court victory of the season.
Despite a victory beam, there is concern regarding De'Aaron Fox's ankle, as reports indicate that he has avoided significant injury but has sustained a moderate sprain of his right ankle and is likely to miss some time. We'll keep you tapped in with the latest updates as we get them right here on the airways and, as always, over at SactownSports.com. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Let's get to the last 30 rack of Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We are back. 30 more minutes for you on this beautiful Monday. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins. And a little bit earlier in the show, we had a text line come in, a texter come in saying that the Niners, when we did our pie chart, our blame pie,
right,
say that both the 49er fans, team, and media, or all three of them, need to split humble pie 3 ways. And when I heard that and read it out loud, I said, hey, 707, just from LT and Napa, I asked, are you a Raider fan?
Right.
So that was 2 hours ago. And an hour ago, LT responds and says, LOL, nailed it. Raiders fan, stuffed from eating humble pie for years. Felt like the 49ers were going all the way this year. I guess they were a little overhyped.
Yeah.
Just win,
I could just tell. I could just tell. Shout out LT listening in Napa.
Yeah.
And beautiful, beautiful wine country. And we're just doing this thing now. Did we start this on Friday when the whole thing, when I said Beam Regime?
Yes.
So Beam Regime ended up winning, I believe. So the Beam Regime was
winning is a strong term. It was a yes or no poll that got 53% of the vote.
It was a win's a win is a win. A win is a win is a win. So the Beam Regime was in full effect on Friday. Beam Regime, a little bit weaker last night with all those Laker fans, but still got to feel good about what they've been able to do. So the 916 is chiming in on the text line as well. I dream of Beamy. Beamy. Well, it's a play on the show I Dream of Jeannie.
See, that's where the reference. Whew, so far over my head. Didn't catch that one at all.
Wow.
I Dream of Beam is good, though. A Dream of Beam.
I Dream of Beam.
It's kind of mixing up our segment.
Dude, your references are out of control. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. I Dream of Beam.
Beam doesn't quite work for me.
I'll take it. 916, it's a play-in. It's in the play-in tournament. 916-339-1140. Let's go to Sam, who wants to talk some Kings basketball. What's up, Sam? You're on Stiles and Watkins.
Hi, how you doing today?
Great. Good. What you got for us?
Well, I think the most overhyped Sacramento Kings, and I've been a Kings season holder since 1985. There's only about 100 of us left, original ticket holders. But I think Harry Giles came in as the most overhyped King that I've ever heard of.
Ooh, that's super interesting.
Wow.
Most overhyped is interesting. I hear what you're saying because there was a lot of
they had a ticker
excitement over Harry Giles.
Well, we talked about the Victor Wembanyama ticker, how they had the counter. Kyle said that they had that for Harry Giles as well.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
It must have been. I thought it was Harry Giles.
There's no way it was Harry Giles. There's no way. There was not that much hype over Harry Giles.
And then it was a different big Kings. Was it Bagley? Maybe I think it was Bagley.
I will say there was for how Harry Giles' career has ended up playing, there was definitely a disproportionate amount of hype for what he ended up being. Like, there was a lot of excitement that Harry could be the guy that he was in high school, which actually, funny enough, thanks for calling, Sam, because this ties in perfectly to this segment we're about to do. But yeah, I mean, Harry Giles in high school was like this number one player in his class, tore both of his knees up, and then went to Duke, ended up getting picked 20th. And so it was kind of like all right, clearly, you know, he's not the same guy that he was there, but if he can just get healthy, what will it look like? And it just never happened. And yeah, Harry is, you know, he was out of the league for a couple of years. Now he's found himself over in Brooklyn, and that's kind of a rebuilding situation. I'm glad he's in the league, but for sure, I mean, I have a Harry Giles jersey. So yeah, there was definitely a disproportionate amount of hype for the actual production that Harry Giles gave us.
And the reason we're kind of getting into this is because if you,
really
yes, great call. If you have heard of this kid, he is kind of the next big thing. His name is Cooper Flagg. He's out there. He's from back east. I don't want to get the states wrong. I get all those states confused out there, but he's from up north, back east, the northeast area, and he is a baller. Now, all of these guys look like ballers in high school, but he's playing against other ballers as well, and he just committed to Duke University. So it got us thinking about guys that we just knew were can't miss guys, or maybe just we were on our hype, on our agent hype, on our scout hype. Hey, this is a guy. So you had a guy on your list. Who is your guy?
For sure. I have multiple guys on this list. This is actually like a specialty for me, is hyping these,
and
like,
missing.
Yeah, and then just completely falling flat. But my guy was Imani Bates, because you talk about like a guy who was pretty much in the Cooper Flagg situation was Imani Bates when he was in high school. He won the Gatorade National Player of the Year as a sophomore.
Yeah.
And I remember there was this huge matchup of Imani Bates against Chet Holmgren, and it was as Giannis was in the finals, and it was like this, all right, where is basketball going right now? Because there's a bunch of 7-footers who are doing things that has never, ever been seen before. And just what does this mean for the future of the NBA? Obviously, Imani Bates, I mean, second-round pick, so his college career was a whole mess. But seems to have landed on his feet pretty well so far early in his NBA career. Had a great summer league. The Cleveland Cavaliers seem to be pretty hopeful that he's going to be a player
Well, now it's
some
a flyer.
sort. So
now,
yeah, exactly.
Now you're taking a flyer.
Now it's a flyer, but he was supposed to be number one pick with a bullet, and him falling from grace the way he has been it's been pretty eye opening, because I thought it was just the most lock of lock, most guarantee of guarantees, because the guy was pretty much Kevin Durant reincarnated.
Right. Now he ended up at a couple different schools, bounced around, you know, talent prevails, and the Cavs are going to take a flyer on him and hope that they're the ones that can, you know, get that potential out of him. I have a couple here, but the most recent one, and I don't even, this one is different because I think everybody had him on the list, and it's kind of a sad story as it's starting to turn out. I mean, when the first time I saw Mikey Williams,
oh man,
and he was about 14, 15 years old, I thought, because he didn't even ever look necessarily that big. He looked like about 6'2".
He's a guard. He's always been a guard.
But he could fly, man. And I'm thinking, man, this kid is going to be something. And unfortunately gets in trouble. Gets in trouble with the law. And I don't know if he's, I don't know if he's done forever, but he's definitely done for right now. So that was a guy.
Who are some other guys on your list? Just curious.
So nobody liked this guy. Because I'm going football.
Tim Tebow.
No, I'm going football here. And he's actually not done. Nobody liked this guy. If you watch, I believe the show was called QB1 on Netflix. I don't know why he didn't bug me. Maybe because, like, in another world, I'm a very just cocky individual that people would not like. Spencer Rattler cracked me up, man.
Oh,
that dude cracked me up.
Shout right there. Yeah.
I said, dude, this kid is going to save the Raiders.
That fool is...
And
he's like Colin Sexton level cocky.
And he's just roasting people. And normally I don't like guys like that, but I don't know what it is.
Something about it,
I think because everybody else disliked him, I thought, I'm just going to ride with this kid.
That's
and if
hilarious.
I'm right, I'm going to look like a genius. And he ends up having to transfer. It was really bizarre because he's at Oklahoma. He played for Oklahoma. He played pretty darn well. He's undersized, doesn't
That's
run.
a freshman too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, redshirt freshman, I think. undersized, doesn't run too well, and Caleb Williams comes to Oklahoma.
Right, that guy.
So then he leaves, Spencer Rattler leaves, and Caleb Williams leaves. So Spencer could have stayed, I guess, but it was a little bit embarrassing. Right. So he goes to South Carolina, actually beats Tennessee when they were rolling last season. I think either Hendon Hooker was already hurt or got injured in that game, and people started saying, Spencer Rattler, he's always had the arm talent. And then this year, South Carolina, the Gamecocks have done absolutely nothing. So
that's a really good pull.
He might,
because he was supposed to be the one. He was really supposed to be like, because again, he comes out or he gets into college like right as Kyler's entering the league, and it becomes a little Baker is immediately picked. It's like, okay, maybe you can be a smaller quarterback, and maybe these guys from Oklahoma's system can kind of figure it out in the pros. And it just doesn't feel like it's ever going to turn out for Spencer. Who knows? Maybe he'll be like.
You got another one?
I got a couple of them. Reggie Bush is the biggest one that I will always talk about. Yeah. I thought Reggie Bush was about to be Barry Sanders 2.0, and you couldn't have told me anything opposite.
Yeah.
That was kind of, and I was also like, still like not an infant, but I was probably like 9 or 10 when he was out. So that was kind of a really big learning process for me that I was like, okay, just because you're great in college doesn't necessarily mean. Andrew Wiggins was huge. Like Andrew Wiggins, people forget, was supposed to be LeBron 2.0. That never happened. John Wall had massive hopes for John Wall. I thought he was going to be like the best point guard of this generation.
He's got the best Dougie of this generation.
He's got the best high school mixtape of this generation too. I'm telling you, his high school mixtape is second to none.
Yeah.
And then the biggest one for me, Cam Newton. And I don't even know how to feel about Cam Newton's pro career either. Like, is he?
No,
he made it to the Super Bowl. He won an MVP.
No, Cam did it.
But like Cam Newton's probably like 31 right now. And he's out of the NFL.
Well, and that's what's going to happen to Josh Allen if he keeps running like
that. No, you're
not
wrong.
Get Cam off that list.
I hope so.
All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, crosstalk. Also, it is the 30th sports equinox ever. Right, that's when there's a game from every
sport, all the main four.
Yes, so enjoy yourselves tonight as you get ready for Halloween. But when we get back, a little bit of crosstalk with Whitey and Draper, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Imagine it's the final game of the season, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are making a comeback. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Oh, I think we're lost again.
Wait, what does that sign over there say?
Caution wildlife crossing?
No, next to it.
If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60. Ouch, I didn't know that.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium. Then again, next year you get the latest iPhone. Every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite.
Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
The glory and the greatness are only a few days away. The 40th running of the Breeders' Cup World Championships at Santa Anita is finally here. The ultimate racing showdown that every owner, trainer, and jockey around the globe has in their sights. With $31 million in purses and awards, there's a lot at stake, but only the best will claim the coveted title of World Champion. Coverage begins Friday, November 3rd on USA and continues Saturday, November 4th on USA and NBC. Visit breederscup.com to learn more.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports, joined by the Drive Guys.
Hey.
It's Monday. Guys, Kim Kardashian skims official underwear.
Yeah, she contacted me. We're negotiating.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Does
God.
anyone
Official
know
underwear of
the NBA?
Drive Guys.
And the Drive
Gotcha.
And the Drive
I
Guys.
thought that's where you were going.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I think it's the undershirts.
That's what I would guess.
Yeah, all
It's
their
like
understuff,
the,
right?
tights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little
Layer.
shapewear for you.
Wow. Feels like Under Armour fumbled the bag there.
The girdles and everything that the players wear sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Interesting.
You all right with that?
What's wrong with that?
I mean, what are we doing here?
Dude.
No, that's what I'm
Is that even an athletic brand?
No.
Who knows?
No, it is. I don't know if it's an athletic brand, but
I know it's a brand.
this is like the NFL showing Taylor Swift every weekend.
Right.
Now, the NBA, they're trying to get into a new market.
Yeah.
You know, some
I
new
get it.
fans.
Compression shorts or something.
Yeah.
That's what I would figure.
Cool.
By the way, I feel like I spent my whole weekend with you guys.
Yeah.
Pretty much
yeah,
did,
a lot of
right?
time.
Yeah, Friday and Sunday.
A lot of time. What'd you think about the both games, really?
Are you freaking
Friday,
out?
disappointing. Last night, energizing, uplifting,
Yeah.
encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Except
Beaming.
for the whole injury to De'Aaron Fox thing.
Right. How tough is it to come into radio on Monday if the Kings lose yesterday and we have to deal with the Kings loss on
I heard
Friday?
you talking about that, yeah.
Niners loss on
I wouldn't
Sunday,
have
and
gotten
then
out of bed.
Yeah, probably not. Right?
Yeah.
Like I probably just would have skipped out on today. Wouldn't have been
Really?
Wouldn't have been a really happy day. No, there's no way. I could have
You on
got. There's
top
no way
of
I would have
that,
gotten
You
that
had your
time.
whole. I know you don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it, but your whole Vikings thing. They win, but Kirk.
Oh, your
goes down.
quarterback's done.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend for me, guys.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
Kyler Murray
That's
time,
not
huh?
ideal. I mean, I've heard people bring that up, and it's interesting for sure. I mean, I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. Like, that's definitely an interesting storyline. I mean, the problem is the trade deadline's tomorrow.
Right.
Like the NFL trade. Like if you're going to deal for a quarterback, that feels like something you should probably have in your plans and workshop.
It's not
and
something you just want to say, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, Kyle, especially, you're probably going to have to give up some first round picks. So, yeah, I mean, definitely throws a wrinkle into the Vikings plan this year. They wanted to be competitive. I think they wanted to kind of sneak into the wild card spots, and obviously without Kirk Cousins. And I think Nick Mullins will be running the show now. Wouldn't expect much success for the purple and gold.
And I
this
don't know
year.
how that works either with Kirk's contract, because Kirk is making good money and Kyler is making ridiculous money. So
Yeah,
I don't think you can't have both of them on the books.
Probably not. Right. That's a great point. I'm not going to ever try and act like I understand how football salary works out.
I'm a
but
capologist in my spare time.
It's almost impossible to try and figure out.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they could figure it out, but yeah, it probably wouldn't be worth it because it kind of comes much like we were talking about the Raiders. It kind of becomes a conversation of like, okay, you trade for Kyler Murray. What's your goal?
Right.
Like you're already not. You're not going to be a great team. You're not going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. If you're not doing that, what are you really fighting for?
And they were talking about Justin Jefferson making like otherworldly money.
Yeah.
So they still have to pay him.
He's got to get paid as well.
Yeah,
that's first and foremost priority number one.
Right. They got to pay him. So who knows what's going on there. But hey, it's purple.
Love this Viking segment.
Yeah, purple, just like the Kings to
like
bring
that
it on
could
back
be.
over there. Malik Monk, I mean,
The king of the kings.
I am still well, for those, like I said, first Kings game. So I'm getting used to all of the nuances.
I thought it
of
was
the
your
game.
baby's first Kings game. I heard
No, it's
This is
it's a
baby's
term.
first bean.
Simone knows. Simone knows. It's a term, all right? But all of the things that they do between the different buckets, right? So Keegan, I didn't know about the Keegan Murray.
Oh, yeah.
That's outstanding.
Fantastic.
That's outstanding.
Do you have the internet?
I know, right? Where have you been? Right? You
don't
only
see
been
that.
down the road. It's not like you've been in Siberia.
Well, don't tell that to my mom. She thinks it's 4 hours away. I never heard it. But it's great. If he makes that shot at the end,
oh my gosh,
you probably wouldn't even be able to hear anything.
No.
You definitely would have had to have the earmuffs on the baby if the baby was there. And then the other one, the Malik Monk one, they do the monk praying after he shoots. That's a pretty funny one too.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't love it. Did I not do that last year?
They did do it last year, and it didn't make sense any of last year either. Everyone was like, is this bad? Like, can you say, like, it almost sounds like it's like offensive, but it's just like a
I don't
monk
know
doing a prayer of some sort.
Days might be numbered.
It just feels
right. It might be offensive.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, this definitely seems offensive.
It's a little cringe.
I don't think it is, but it feels like someone would have an issue with this somewhere.
The only people that have an issue are the monks who've taken the vow of silence.
That's
What are
right.
they gonna do?
Can't say anything.
Yeah, they also probably shouldn't be watching basketball, at 8 o'clock at night. Whatever. Monks can do whatever monks want.
Call
to
in.
do.
I don't know. I don't know. So you got the Warriors up next, and obviously, as far as we know, there's not going to be De'Aaron, even though they avoided significant injuries.
Yeah,
probably
but it's
going to miss
not good.
at least.
It's easy to say, oh, he avoided serious injury, but it's not good, right?
It's not good, and it reminds me he had an ankle injury a couple of years ago.
Right. Yep. Grade 3 ankle sprain.
Yeah, he had that, and was that the one he had Tyrese Halliburton's rookie year. Do you remember that one? That was an ankle sprain also, and it took him some time to get back. Tyrese gets traded, then he comes back and plays. Domantas Sabonis, and the rest is history. And so when you look at this Kings schedule, get through tomorrow.
Yep.
Not saying Houston we can't overlook and all that, but you have some winnable games.
Yeah,
Portland,
for sure.
You could get this guy on a 10-11 day rest here, and I think that's what I would aim for if I'm the Kings, obviously.
Yeah, we were looking at the schedule this morning, and it feels like maybe next Friday could be
OKC,
I think it's the OK. That also might be the first in-season tournament game,
Yeah,
if
I
I'm
think
not
it is.
mistaken,
Yes.
which we all know you have to have.
Yes.
If you're going to be missing those games, you
Yeah.
better have a reason for it nowadays. So that's kind of the one that I have in pencil circled right now, but it is one of those cases. You mentioned his first injury. It's one of those things where you don't want to rush him back, especially early in the season. What's the point in kind of having him play on a bum ankle all year? And ankles are definitely one of those things where the only thing you can do to make it better is let it rest. If you play on it, you're probably going to aggravate it no matter how big of the ankle braces are.
Yeah, well, if it's anything like the game last night, it might be hard to keep him off the floor. De'Aaron Fox, I mean, Mike Brown didn't even know what was going on. He thought that De'Aaron was done, and De'Aaron just walked onto the court.
I'm getting back in.
Crazy
Awesome.
And then it wasn't until I think the end of the fourth, and I saw him when he's walking to the bench, and he was limping bad.
Yeah.
And at that point, because when you're right, when he came back in the game, he looked fine.
Yeah.
He looked fine.
Totally fine.
Right.
I was like,
laboring at
he's
all.
going to finish. I might not even have to worry about him missing a game.
Yeah. And then you see him going back to the locker room and needing to get helped back to the locker room. So, that's just more Malik Monk and more of the sound.
Right.
That's what we're going to get.
Right. You better get used to it because it's going to be here.
You better get used to it, Whitey.
Yeah. I'm a big Malik Monk guy. We had a nice chat with him on Media
That's
Day.
right, yeah.
So, and maybe Colby Jones, I think it was Brendan Nunes pointing out today, maybe Colby Jones gets an opportunity now. It's not good. I think it's going to be something Fox is dealing with most likely based on history for the better part of 3 weeks, give or take.
Right.
But there are opportunities that come along with it. So fingers crossed. The best thing is, as Kyle says, you got the games are kind of spread out now for a little bit.
Yeah, you got some time in between games, some less than desirable competition, like teams you should be able to beat Houston, you should be able to beat Portland. And then it gets a little tougher though, with the OKC, and then you got the road trip coming up as well. And so we obviously would rather have this injury now than later.
Yes.
So, and this way he'll have plenty of time to get healthy, get back. And so I'm not too concerned because I've seen Davion Mitchell. I know people might think I'm crazy. Davion will be okay in that. We have enough depth, I think, to withstand this for the short term.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time Davion does really well in extended minutes. And I think it's tough to kind of, as a point guard, especially when you're already not scoring isn't your calling card, and then you're going to be out there for 13 to 15 minutes. It's like, yeah, Davion's only going to take 3 to 5 shots, but if he's going to get an extended 30+ minute run, I think it's just a lot easier to get into a rhythm, get into a flow. And a lot of times when De'Aaron has missed games, Davion's came in and played pretty well. He's been able to put up 12 to 15 points per game. And I think that's really all you can ask for him especially he's still bringing what he brings defensively.
Yeah. And Kevin Huerter talked about it as well. There is a narrative about last season and how the Kings had very good injury, quote unquote, luck. Well, Doesn't seem to be the case to start the season, so we'll see what they'll be able to do. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Drive Guys up next, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.